All right, guys, let me know if the audio is good, and we will kick off this live stream then. Sounds good. Good deal. Oh, we'll wait for a few more people to get in here, and we will get things going here. So, harvest progress update. We are kind of at a standstill. Not really at a total standstill, but it's kind of off and on raining right now. Started around 2 o'clock today. And we've got basically the majority of custom work done as far as custom harvesting goes. And we need to haul out a bunch of corn here at the farm. That way we can make room again for more corn. So we store all of our corn. We don't store any of our beans because we don't have another bin available for beans. Eventually, someday, it would be nice to have a third bin and dedicate that 18,000 or 20,000 bushel small bin there. That's a 36-foot diameter bin, and dedicate that to beans. Would be nice someday to have a power sweep auger on that bin and put that on a foundation. Technically, it is on a foundation. The floor itself is on a foundation, but the actual bin itself is not, just the floor. So eventually, someday, it would be nice to have that bin on an actual foundation, put a power sweep in that bin, and dedicate that bin for a bean bin, and add a couple more rings onto that. I think that's an 8-ring bin, and I believe just going on spec sheet. Actually, Brock spec sheets those are for, that's a hopper bin. Non-stiffened flat bond, yeah, right here. It's a 36-foot. Currently, I mean, I'm supposedly, Brock says you can take that from 8 rings up to 13 and make that. I don't know why Adobe has this so small right now. Take that from a 20,000 to a 32,000 bushel bin for beans. So that would be nice. We would have to talk with our bin engineers who we would work with. Would be hot shellers out of Illinois, out of Napanee, Indiana. So a lot of guys have been asking me about, is there a future bin project or any upgrades going to happen out at the bin site? Possibly. I mean, nothing this year. It would be, obviously, definitely in the future. We definitely need to look at replacing that south holding bin. We said it last year when we put the sweep auger in the south bin, because the north bin actually has a power sweep. South bin, we have to dig open the door and slide the power sweep in and get the sweep going. And we said it last year that the sweep didn't look very good as far as the overall shape it's in. And this year it could potentially be on its last leg as far as overall utilization of it. So I don't know. The bin floor on that 20,000 bushel bin is so. I mean, it's to the point where we almost need to rip that floor up and look at some of the floor supports in there. GSI bins, I'm not opposed to GSI bins at all. We've just had Brock bins, well, basically, probably our oldest Brock bin, which I'm not entirely sure what year that bin would be, is the 20,000 bushel bin. Before that, we had Butler bins, or Butler bin, which actually the remains of that Butler bin is actually on the roof of the dryers. So if you guys watch or have been watching the past couple of videos, especially the one video where I climbed into that 20,000 bushel bin, you can see that there's bin sheets on top of the dryer. Now that's actually a makeshift roof that Dad and Grandpa did to basically shelter the dryer, which we actually, in some cases, will climb on top of that to double check or do any maintenance that we need to do on top of the, or for the load auger coming out of that north bin, because the load auger actually comes out across from that north holding bin on top of the roof there, and there's a chute that goes down into the dryer then. So for the load auger coming out of that north bin, the south bin load auger is comes out underneath, or just comes underneath the roof, or that makeshift roof. So yeah, so I'm not opposed to GSI bins. I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm not opposed to looking at them, just price wise, I guess. Just overall, we've had Brock, have loved them, and yeah. So there is, like I said, a possibility of a different holding bin. We do need to get a different holding bin, but since we designed that structure ourselves, the structure that those bins are on, we have to have a structural engineer take a look at those and see basically what the load bearing capacity is on that structure to find out how big of a holding bin that we can actually put on there. Because what would be ideal would be a 75, well, what would be awesome, it's not necessarily ideal as far as efficiency goes, but just what would be awesome to put on there would be a 7,500 bushel holding bin, which I think stiffened hopper bottom. Yeah, I've got the Brock sheets literally pulled up, or a little file folder here on my computer just for quick reference and stuff like this. I think that's a 15, I want to say, that's up there right now. Both of those are 15-foot diameters, I believe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So that would be the actual biggest 15-foot bin that they make, is a 7,500 bushel one, 7,502 actually. And that would be eave heights 59.5 and 63.4 on fill. So basically, like I said, all of that we would just have to run by our structural engineer, bin engineers. Like I said, who we would work with would be Hochstetler's out in Appenee. But like I said, we haven't run any numbers. We're not considering really anything right now. I'm just saying that would be something that down the line eventually we're gonna need to look at doing. So, and eventually another bin would be possibly in the works as well someday. Would be really cool to put up. But basically what would be really cool is to dedicate that 42 foot and put up another bin for corn, and put up a, oh, the dogs are messing around in there. Yes, now we have two dogs. For those of you that, well, none of you really, well, some of you guys follow me on Snapchat, I know, which I will post my Snapchat here. You guys can go and add me if you don't add or haven't added me yet. Grandma ended up getting another German Shepherd. It's a 8-week-old. Well, now it's 9 weeks, or just about 9 weeks, I would say. 9-week-old German Shepherd, male. and his name is Axel, Axel, I guess. So now we have Axel and Bela. Bela is, she would be, she's 2.5, I believe. 2.5. I believe she'll be 3 next year. And she's a female, and we got her back when we were first getting the office built. So that was, yeah, a couple years ago. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'll post my Snapchat here so you guys can add me if you want to add me on there. Instagram's the same thing, Werner_Farms. So if you guys want to add me on that, also you guys can. So yeah, so we've got 2 dogs now, and Bale has been kind of leery of him, and she's when we got Bela, she was the alpha dog of the litter. We found out there was only 2 females left, and the one female was pretty docile, and this one was very active. And very active is quite an understatement. Some of the neighbors can testify for that if they're on here watching. But this one, I guess, Amanda and Grandpa, because Grandma, Grandpa, and Amanda's my sister, by the way. She's my younger sister, and my only sister. So they went and picked this dog out, and they came back and said, yeah, we got the most active one, but this one is also a bully and the alpha dog. And so, yeah, we've got 2 alpha dogs now, and it sounds like they're going at it right now. What in the world? Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come here. Come here. Yeah. You know you did something wrong. No, hey. Time out. Yeah, that's right. Come here. No, be nice to her. So, believe it or not, Axel actually beats up on Bela. It's actually kind of funny. Yeah, so he's really in the puppy phase still, obviously 9 weeks old, but really sharp puppy teeth. So, yeah, so he's been really beating up on Bela. Bela's kind of not sure what to do. And yeah, so, but anyways, back on harvest update. We are, as far as actual acres go, I haven't actually sat down and run how much corn we have left to go. It's a decent amount, but it will take us quite a while to do, just because possibly just depending on the moisture of this irrigated corn. Obviously, we are going to have to dry it. Just to what degree, we don't know, obviously, because we haven't really gotten into irrigated corn. But the irrigated stuff looks pretty good. Dry land's been running pretty well. Definitely can pick out every soil type out in the field. Really, yields aren't overly bad as far as comparing to last year. I mean, the one field that we picked that was dry land, we actually thought was running pretty low as far as yields go, especially for dry land. And comparison to last year, honestly, I mean, it was dry. Like I said, this is dry land. It was within 1 bushel of last year's yield average. So really, we're not too far off from last year. I mean, yes, the beans are definitely taking a hit this year, but honestly, the corn isn't as bad as what we were anticipating, I guess you could say. I mean, there are some really bad spots. I mean, when the yield drops off, it drops off, but there are some good spots out there in the dry land, so that's good. But I would say overall yields are going to be just right at average as far as dry land goes. Irrigated, like I said, we haven't gotten into any irrigated, but I'm really excited to. We just got done, like I said, with the majority of custom work. We're moving back over on ours, and basically what we have left is irrigated. So, what we are going to probably start on is some fields over by Wanata and move over and do that 40 on the corner with the high population plot. So that's actually planted at 34,000, and we bumped a strip up to 40,000 out there. And I told Dad, you know what, if we're going to go to the trouble, which isn't a lot, I mean, it's just a matter of changing the chain on the planter, because we're all chain driven as far as population goes. We're not fancy yet and have electric drives. Eventually someday, but we're all chain driven yet. So basically, it's just moving the sprockets and setting it to a higher population. So if we're going to go to the trouble of planting 40,000 and not doing anything as far as upping fertility rates to meet that population in order to basically increase yield there, why are we going to put that population plot out? So we did the population plot, and I went out there and side dressed everything. And hold on just a second. All right, had to say. But yeah, so we did side dress that to basically meet what the fertility needs as far as nitrogen goes on that high population plot. So that's going to be really interesting to see what basically if everything is correct as far as how much nitrogen we're actually putting out there, as far as 40,000 population at 18. Let's just say there's an 18 by 38 year out there. You're talking nitrogen requirements for, so 18 by 38 at 40,000 divided by 85. I mean, you're talking wow, my math's off, but about 330 bushel corn. So, basically you look at N requirements or fertility requirements for 300 to 330 bushel corn. And if basically our theory is correct on this, we could potentially be seeing some pretty crazy yields out of this. So I'm pretty excited about that. The micro mix, we did some micronutrient trials out there along with a couple of other irrigated fields. Probably the first irrigated stuff that we will pick, probably not that field, but the second field that we will pick over by Wanata that's irrigated. Had some foliar passes done on it, so that'll be interesting. We had two different foliar products that we use to compare. So that'll be really interesting to see which foliar product does the best out there, and if they even if we or even if we do see a response from them, which I don't know. This is our first real. Can't really say this is our first year experimenting with foliars, but this is our first serious. I can't really say serious look at them, but more more of a I can't even really think of the word, because we've done foliars in the past, but I guess you can say we're giving them a more of a serious, not really serious look. Again, I keep going back to serious. It's more trials, I guess, with them, and more experimentation with them. We've done some foliar passes in the past, just not on this wide of a scale. And yeah, so it'll be real interesting to see if those pay off. So, I'm surprised the comment. Yeah, you guys are just chilling in here, I guess. Not really a lot of comments or a lot of questions, really. So, custom work is going really great. There's probably only 200 and some acres, I think, left over there. We literally smoked through 112 yesterday. No, 112 the day before, all in one chunk, and 115 yesterday. And yeah, so we were definitely cruising through the bushels there, and cranking out. I mean, it's not impressive numbers by any means, but I mean, we were running 32 to 3,500 bushel an hour. And that's with two semis and three tandems. So it's not like we're able to run any faster. I mean, we were running 5 mile an hour. And I mean, I know a lot of guys say, well, why don't you run 6 mile an hour? You've got a 690. You can push that thing hard. Really, what we do is we match our harvesting speed with with basically our truck meet, our trucks, basically efficiency wise there. So basically, 5 mile an hour is just about perfect for matching with the trucks getting back from the elevator or from the bins. So it works out great. So there's really no reason to run any faster and then just be sitting on the ends waiting for trucks. So it's just better just to keep the combine constantly rolling. So that's why we run at 5 mile an hour or whatever speed that we figure out is the best for overall efficiency, really. So just to basically keep the combine moving. So. As far as spoon feeding goes, that's what we found is, I can't really say it's a silver bullet, but it is one of the silver BBs as far as overall corn production, really. Really, there is no silver bullet. It's a bunch of BBs. And one of the big things, or I guess one of the larger amount of BBs, goes to spoon feeding in these sands. That's really what we found has been really beneficial for us, especially mostly on our irrigating ground, because that's really all we ever really do any spoon feeding on. We really don't. We've done it in the past. We've wide dropped some dry land. It is beneficial. It's just we some years we do, some years we don't. It's just kind of one of those hit and miss things. And if we do a wide drop application on dry land, it's just one application and typically not a lot of acres. So, and it's not that it doesn't pay. It's just it's just a hit and miss thing as far as rain goes on dry land. So it's just easier to control your environment with an irrigator. So that's why we kind of focus more on our irrigated acres as far as spoon feeding. So. But like I said, these foliar applications, we do have some trials out. So again, if this is something that we could look at doing on all of our acres, this is why we like to more experiment on our irrigated ground to focus more on overall basically every experiment that we do out there is trying to increase yield. So if we can implement something on our dryland acres as well, like these foliar applications or these micronutrient passes that we're doing in the side dress, that can be something that we can also utilize in our dryland acres, so that it's not just focusing on our irrigated ground as what a lot of guys think we just do. So the 40-foot Draper, that's a 2018. Got that from Castonia's. Most of you guys have probably watched that video. Really like it. And it was kind of surprising. I got in the combine because Dad was running it for a little while. And me personally, I did not get a chance to run it myself, but it didn't really matter to me, or I didn't care, just because I got to run it last year in the demo, so I knew how it runs and everything. So, and it runs just like our FD70, so our old Draper that's already sold. So I didn't really care. But I got in there and I'm like, so what do you think? He's just like, well, it's nice, but I think we should have got a 45. He's like, it just doesn't seem that much bigger than a 35. I'm like, yeah, but you're running the same ground speed, 3.5, 4 mile an hour, and you're running a larger head, 5 foot bigger. So I'm like, you're technically your acres per hour and everything. I mean, you're taking a lot more in, and you're getting a lot more done than what you realize. And he's just like, true, but I think we should have got a 45. I mean, like I said, I can see us running a 45 someday. It's just baby steps, I guess. I don't know. I mean, not that we were afraid to go to a 45 by any means. It's just like I said, there's certain corners that we know that we would almost struggle getting around with a 45, and a 40 just works well, put it that way. So how many minutes does it take to fill your combine full? A lot of variables come into play at that point on timing as far as filling the combine. Yeah, so I mean, it depends mostly on ground speed and yield. So to be honest, I've never really timed it. So how many acres of corn left? Again, I just haven't taken the time to actually run any numbers as far as what we've got left. I think we've got roughly around 200 acres left on custom work, which we will come back to custom work probably, whenever we get our bins emptied out, and basically we pick some on ours again and fill our bins up again. And when we're letting the corn cool, because we actually dump hot in the bins and cool in the bins instead of cooling from the dryer, we actually cool in the bins. So we dump hot out of the dryer into the bins and then cool in them. So we'll have to give them depending on the moisture that we're taking it down from and going to a couple of days, we'll let that cool, and then we can haul out. So basically, whenever we get corn cooling in both bins, we will switch back to custom work, probably end up knocking that out at that point, and move back to ours and basically wrap up ours then. And I would assume, looking at the calendar right now, it's October 18th, which it's hard to believe that we just basically just flew right through October. Just a rough estimation right now, I would say the second week of November we could potentially be done, I would say. So an X9 with a 50 foot. So this is something Dad and I were actually discussing on some custom work that we were running, and it was 200 bushel corn, and in this one pass that we were doing. and it was I we were discussing about a grain cart and about capacity on a combine because I actually did a Facebook post saying, two things I learned from this day. One, I need a larger grain tank on the combine, and two, I need a larger grain cart. Um, the only thing is on the grain tank on the combine, we do not like the idea of putting we like and dislike the idea of putting bin extensions on the combine. It would be nice to put the bin extensions on, and I think the bin extensions would take the 690 from 400 to 475 or 500, I believe. Um, and it's just adding that extra 100 bushel of weight, not only in the grain tank, but just overall, like basically overall weight of the combine then that you're driving across the field. So increase slightly in compaction, possibly, just in our uh, base, in our opinion, I guess. But I just don't know if I like the idea of putting an extra 100 bushel in the power fold. Just looking at the panels up there, I just don't know if I like that idea. Neither does Dad. So I know on the X9, I think the X9 1000 holds 425, I want to say, and the X9 1100 holds 475, I think. I mean, because Dad was talking, and I know he's kind of reconsidered that at this point. Of maybe we should run a 16 row. Some a lot of you guys say, well, why don't you just run a 16 row corn head? You'd match with your planter. Well, I've always said it's just like we wouldn't know what to do with the corn. Not only if we could actually get into an efficiency rotation with the combine and grain cart where he's not always full. Well, problem is he's always going to be full with a 16 row. But if especially in our irrigated ground, like we struggle sometimes breaking open fields with a 12 row even on irrigated ground, and in some instances even on dry land fields. So it's kind of like with a 16 row, your grain tanks is going to get fuller even faster, and like, Dad's just like, yeah, he's like, I think I can reconsider a 16 row at this point, as far as grain. He's like, you just need a bigger grain tank. I'm like, then again, you're going back to overall weight of the combine and looking back at, compaction. He's like, yeah, he's just like, you almost just need to stay with a 12 row and just get a slightly bigger grain cart on tracks and you'd be all right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, that would be ideal. But yeah. Leaves. I don't know. Oh, as far as the price of the X9, John Deere, I don't think has released the actual build specs on or the build your own website. I don't think they've even released it yet. But what I've heard is, yeah, 1.2 with heads, and yeah, that's that's insane. And what I've heard is it's around 800 or $850,000 for a combine. That's crazy. That's crazy. Are you guys ever going to upgrade one of your tractors or even buy a new one? I can tell you for a fact right now, we're not going to buy a new one. Not for $500,000. No way can we justify something like that. Um, Eventually, yes, upgrades for tractors are, I wouldn't say in need, but it would be nice eventually. Our salesman from John Deere thinks that we need an 8245R to replace the 4650, and I disagree. I would say if we were replacing that tractor horsepower for horsepower, because that tractor is at 235 right now, or probably just slightly under 235. Yes, and that's on dyno too. Um, I don't know if you guys can hear that through the mic or not, but holy cow, is he whining in that garage? I'll let him out here in a few minutes. But if we were to replace the 4650 horsepower to horsepower, roughly, I mean, obviously 235 or just under 235 versus 245 isn't quite horsepower to horsepower, but if we were to replace that tractor, he thinks an 8245R would be nice. That would, I mean, it still wouldn't really. I would not want to go with an 8245R. Just knowing what we would need to do to spread hours out on the 8530. Yes, we could run it on the Y drop applicator because it doesn't take squat to pull that thing. I mean, we could pull it with a 4430 if we wanted to, but one, we need auto steer and we need the rate controller capabilities. So yes, you can put a ATU unit in the 4430, but are we gonna do that? No, we're not gonna put an ATU unit in the 4430. Some say, well, why can't you just put the 4650 on the Y drop applicator? Yes, I mean, that was a possibility. I mean, we could have done that, but Dad just would rather have it on the 8530, and that's his opinion. So we're going to keep it on the 8530, at least for now, unless we do something different as far as a tractor goes. But the 8530, it's staying. I mean, that's not going anywhere. I mean, that was to replace the track tractor, which I've explained in previous videos about why we had the track tractor and why we got rid of the track tractor. I mean, it worked for our operation at one time, and for the last couple of years that we had it, we realized it's just like we need a more versatile of a tractor. This tractor is literally a grain cart and tillage only for us, and for tillage, really, it's just the vertical till, and that's it, because we don't really do any other tillage except breaking out the field cultivator every once in a while to go on the tomato ground. But in my opinion, what would be nice is like Dad said at one point, he's like, almost need like another 8530 or an 8430. He's like, that'd be sweet. But the 8530, just catching a quick comment here, the 8530 is actually 330 horse. And funny story, I mean, I was talking with guys before we even were actually buying this tractor, which we bought this tractor on an auction. Steph's group out in Iowa on their Ag Iron auction in Mount. What was that? Where was that? It was in Iowa. Mount something. I can't think of the something. But anyways, I was talking with guys about 20 series or 30 series because I didn't know what we should be looking at, like an 8520 or like consider an 8530, which if I remember right, I don't think the 20 series had IVT. I don't think. But I was talking with guys about 20 series versus 30 series, and they said 20 series, every single 20 series guy I talked to said the 20 series seemed underpowered for what they were rated at. And all the 30 series guys I talked to said no, they were overpowered. So the 20 series guys all said that seemed to have less power than what they were rated at. And the 30 series guys all said that they seemed to have more power than what they were actually rated at. So actually, we actually got to talk to the owner of this tractor, even though it went on auction. Mount Pleasant. Yeah, that's right. We got to talk with the owner of this, and they actually only ran it on a grain cart, literally the exact grain cart we have, just without extensions, Kinsey 840, and a 16-row split row Kinsey planter. So not a hard life by any means. And he said this guy actually owned 9400 Ts as well, so he knew exactly what track tractor we had and what basically we were getting rid of to get this tractor. And he said this 8530 will do everything and then some what that 9400 could do. And I'm like, all right, so you're saying a 330 horse tractor is going to swing with a 9400T, which has 400 and I think, if I remember right, 425 horse. It's like, really? You're almost talking 100 horsepower difference there. I doubt it. So when we hook that thing up to the vertical till, obviously 300 or 30-foot vertical till on a 425 horse tractor, I there was real, you couldn't even tell it was back there. Now with the 8530, depending on where you have it set, you still can't even tell it's back there. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Now on a full grain cart, you can tell it's back there. I mean, it barks a little bit when it's back there. I mean, you can tell, but I run all the time. Like, guys ask me all the time about running grain cart on this, about the transmission modes, because there's manual, there's draft, there's economy mode, there's PTO mode, which I've never really looked at PTO mode. I don't know if any of you guys have ever, IVT guys on here, I don't know if any of you guys have ever looked at or have ever run in PTO mode. I've never even messed with it, but I run in economy mode all the time, running grain cart. Now, all the guys that run IVT always ask me, well, how do you, when you load on a truck, how do you run on economy mode and get your PTO speed fast enough or high enough to unload trucks fast? Well, I just literally, when I pull up to a truck and get lined up, I just immediately switch over to manual mode and run the engine on manual. Then at that point, that way I can get my RPMs up higher than 1200, because economy mode, you're only running 1200 RPM, 1200 and maybe 1250 at the most. And I run at 1600 RPM all the time. So unloading on the grain cart, 1500, 1600. So, but yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of a backstory on the 8530 there a little bit. But ideal tractor, I hate to say get rid of or replace, because I really don't want to see the 4650 leave the farm. That was actually the last tractor that we bought new on the farm. So, but I would like to add a 83, like an 8430 or an 8530, or like an 8R series 300 horse tractor. So like anywhere from like an 8310 to like an 8360R. Now, the reason why I say all the way up to a 360R would be just due to being able to have that tractor do vertical tillage, while say the 8530s on a grain cart, or vice versa, really. That's my opinion there. So, but yeah, so that's kind of my thought at that point for a tractor. What I feel we should do for the next tractor. Like I said, I really don't want to get rid of the 4650. I almost just say at this point, since let's just say, we go to Greenmark or our local John Deere dealer, or any John Deere dealer, and say, hey, what's trade-in value on a 1980s 4650? They'll just, honest to God, I wouldn't even know what they would even offer us at that point. And it's kind of like, why almost just trade it off? Why don't you just keep it and restore it and keep it? Which, my opinion is, I think that would be a really cool thing to do. Just keep it. My thought is just to keep the 4430, 4630, and the 4650. I mean, that's my thought. But I mean, eventually, also upgrade tractors as well, but keep those on the farm. Why? Because, well, the 4630, the 4430 really doesn't have a lot of meaning. I mean, it does and it doesn't. I mean, we didn't buy that tractor new. It was fairly new when we bought it. It was used. That engine, and the engine blew up on that tractor on the previous owner, the guy that first bought that tractor, and they replaced the engine in it. And the guy, I don't know what he ended up doing. I think he went to a 4440, and we picked that tractor up. I think it was down at Knox, and honest to God, I can't remember how many hours was on it when we got it. This was all before my time, But so that tractor had more, technically, the tractor itself had more hours on it, but the engine obviously was new. And yeah, so we got that tractor, but that tractor doesn't have a boatload of meaning compared to like the 4630, which that was bought new, and the 4650, which was bought new. So that was actually the 4650, if I remember right, was either a lease demo or a demo unit. And we were trying that out because we needed a bigger tractor at the time. And I think it was in August of that year, they came to Grandpa and said, listen, you got to figure out what you're going to do, because either we're taking this tractor back or you're signing here and it's yours. And he ended up signing, and here we are almost 40 years later. So both of those have really good meaning to the farm at that point. So that's why I would like to keep those. I really don't want to get rid of the 4650 for sure, and the 4630. I would really like to keep those and restore those, but that's just my thought. I mean, I don't know. Some people might definitely have different opinions than what I do, but I really don't want to see either of those leave. So 4430, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to have still, but like I said, it's not too, die hard that, oh my God, it's going to be a tragic day when that thing leaves. No, I mean, doesn't have as much meaning. So, really? So you heard that the X9 1100 was floating around the $1 million mark. That's still wow. That's crazy. No, we do not have an X9 combine. No, like literally, I think the only combines that are out that are X9s are all demo units. So I doubt anybody. I know people probably have their names on them at this point, but no, we don't. We don't have an X9 combine. No, we've got an S690, which at one time was one of the biggest combines John Deere had, but yeah, that X9 puts ours to shame. Yeah, if you want to check out the X9 though, Zach Johnson, the millennial farmer, he has a demo right now on an X9, and that's really cool. So you guys should go over to his channel and check that out. So I was actually watching some videos on it this evening. So we are 100% done with beans, but we've got 40 acres of double crop. So do I want a demo an X9? Yeah, I mean it'd be cool, but supposedly I heard our dealer is getting one, and this is just rumors floating around that our dealer could potentially be getting one to play with, I guess. I don't know. And I was told late fall they were getting it. I doubt they're going to get it, but I don't know. I mean, I can tell you right now, we wouldn't get a chance of demoing it, but I would definitely, the same thing I did with the 8RX. I would definitely go over there and film a video of it, just a walk around, basically show the features on it and stuff. I guess if our dealer ends up getting basically one in, I don't know, but I don't know. Like I said, that's just a rumor floating around that they could potentially be getting one, so I don't know. Where do we get our farm chemicals from? We get, for the past few years, and yeah, I think, how long have we been getting chemicals from these guys? Quite a few years now. We've been dealing with Helena Chem, so they've treated us really well. So Oh, the price tag's just outrageous. I mean, it's unbelievable. Hey, Brian, how's it going? So, I mean, like Dad and I said, everybody laughs about us running a 690 with the amount of acres that we run. And I guess when we're running 4.5 mile an hour in green stem beans that are running 85 bushel, and we're taking a 40-foot header width. Now, granted, 40 foot, on a 690, I mean, granted, we should be running 45, but, and you're only running 50% capacity, and this thing is not even like grunting whatsoever. I mean, granted, we're running a 40-foot head. I mean, we could be running a 45, but take that and put that on a 670. I mean, a 670 on that, trying to run 4.5 mile an hour in green stem beans. I'm not saying you can't, but as far as percent utilization of the machine, I mean, you're going to be running at 670 a lot harder than what you are a 690. So, I mean, the way we see it is we're not stressing that machine as much as what we would a machine that would literally match our machine utilization requirements to a T. So basically running in that 85% plus utilization demand on the combine, basically. I mean, some guys would argue and say that, if you're only using 50% of the machine, you're not doing a good job threshing. Well, I beg to differ on that a bunch, but I mean, that's just my thought on it. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could buy a combine that is literally fit your operation to a T, but I guess the way we see it is there's instances like yesterday or the past few days where if we want to hammer out 100 plus acres of corn in a day, we can do that without a question and not worry about anything on the combine whatsoever, because we know this combine could easily handle it and get it done. So I guess for our operation, a 680 would be perfect, and I'm not saying a 680 can't do what a 690 can do. I mean, yeah, a 680 can really do a good job, but I'm just saying, a 690 with the horsepower comes into play a lot, especially in beans, but I don't know. Some of you guys are probably understanding what I'm trying to tell you guys without really stepping on anybody's toes or anything, but yeah. So I would just rather have more combine than what we actually need. That way, if a call to action were to happen, where let's just say somebody else calls up and says we're in a real tight pinch, we could really use your guys' help. Could you come help us harvest? Sure thing. We can, hammer out acres just without a question. But, yeah. A neighbor friend who's actually a year younger than me, I went to school with, in a grade below me. He actually is I'm not sure exactly what he's going for as far as John Deere goes, but I believe it's the tech or service program. I don't know if they're two different programs or what, but he's going through the John Deere program right now, and that's what he's doing, and he's having a blast on it. I know that, and yeah, I mean, if you're considering it, I would. I mean, it works out great for him, I think, farming and doing the John Deere program. So if you're considering it, I wouldn't totally rule that out. I know he's having a good time with it and really enjoys it. So, and it's always good to have a good buddy that knows the ins and outs of everything John Deere related. So that's good. Helena is overpriced. Well, we've done price comparisons, and they're right in the ball game. So, and we enjoy working with them, and they really appreciate our business, and they treat us well. So we're not gonna as far as I know, we don't plan on going away from them, and we're really happy working with them. So, did we have any field fires? No. As far as I know, there was no field fires. Supposedly, I've heard a couple. I know there's been one combine fire, not this past couple of days, but there's been one combine fire I know of this fall. Supposedly, somebody else said there's been another equipment fires of some sort somewhere in the county. I don't know, like, I haven't heard much of anything about that one, but yeah, there's been one. But yeah, so I don't know. I otherwise no, I don't think there's nothing's really trickled down to us in the grapevine as far as any field fires or anything, and we were fine. So we do 1,000 acres of custom work, which really isn't necessarily new to us. We used to do that a lot, like throughout the many years that we've been farming since 1960. So I mean, we've done custom work as far as custom harvesting goes. Most recently, about I think it was about 7 years ago. We well, no, it was about we got the 9650, I think, around 2000, 2005, 2000, yeah, around 2005. We actually were running a fair amount of beans. A lot of guys, we had a lot of custom work on beans that we did. I think at one point we were running 2,500 acres of custom work for beans, and we did that for quite a few years there for a while. And that was when basically we went from a 25-foot head. So there was a comment on one of my videos recently about Crary air reels. Why don't we run a Crary air reel if there's such a good return on investment with them? We've actually run them for many years, put it that way. When we bought our 25-foot auger head back, I don't know how many years ago, we actually specially ordered it without a reel, so we could actually put a Crary air reel system on it. Because what's the point in buying a grain head and immediately taking the brand new reel off to put a Crary air reel on it? So we ended up doing that and putting the Crary air reel system on it, which absolutely loved it and highly recommend it. And it looks just like what Chet's Larson's auger head has, with the tubes in the center and not hanging out like what they have on their Draper. So it looks identical to the one that they're running on their older head. And we actually bought a 36-foot auger head, and unbelievable amount of weight, unbelievable amount of power it took. Also, not only it had dual blowers with that giant with the auger drive, it was unbelievable how between that and the auger drive, it was unbelievable how much power that took. So then we got looking in the Drapers at that point, and so the 36-foot head. Back to that. The 36-foot head was made by Crary itself. So the company, actually made heads there, and I don't think they make them anymore now, but they made heads there for, I know, a little while. And so yeah, this had dual blowers on it. It had the tube, had the air reel in the center, so it looked just like our old one, but had the air reel in it. And it literally was a John Deere head with all John Deere components in it. So literally we didn't have to worry about sourcing parts or anything. It was literally all through our John Deere dealer at that point, which was really cool. But a couple of years later, we ended up getting rid of that. And I think that we bought that down at Mowry's and sold that down at Mowry's auction down at Milford, Indiana, or Illinois. Sorry. Yeah, Illinois. I don't know. It's Milford. It's so close to the state line. It's Illinois. Milford, Illinois. And that head actually went back up into Canada, and I think that head originally came out of South Dakota, I want to say, when they brought that down to Maori's. Don't ask me how that got from South Dakota down to Illinois. I don't know. But anyways, that head originated out of the South Dakota, North Dakota area, came down here, we ran it, went back on auction, sold it, went up to somewhere up in Canada. So we ended up going to a 35-foot Draper, and yeah, so now we're running a 40-foot, so, and still a McDon. So, and honest to God, I can't remember after telling you guys all that why we were even discussing the aerial. Yeah, so that is something we really like the idea of. We wouldn't mind running putting an aerial on a Draper, because that would be the ideal setup. Putting an aerial on a Draper head, going from an auger head to a Draper head, that's a huge leap, and it's quite a boost in efficiency and as far as getting stuff done, and also machine feeding. My God, the feeding versus an auger head and a Draper head is just night and day difference. Some people will argue and say there's no benefit to a Draper. Phew. When you get in tough beans, or when the dew sets in, there's a night and day difference. Night and day difference. You can't even tell when the dew sets in with a Draper head. Kid you not. I mean, for those that run auger heads, I mean, you guys are probably all just saying there's no way. Yeah, I'm exactly 100% right. I mean, you do not know when the dew sets in. Now, granted, when it gets really thick, you know when the dew sets in, but when it first starts setting in, you don't know. You honest to God don't know. But there's a couple of companies, you got Prairie, you got AWS. I like both of them. If we were to ever do an aerial system, it would, just be on I don't know if it would be on this head. Potentially, maybe. I don't know. But more than likely with Prairie. So, yeah, I doubt we would do anything with agricultural chemical solutions, just because it's just not to say that they're not convenient. Just because we're a heck of a lot closer than what Larson's are. Like I said, Helena treats us well. We actually do our tissue sampling through Helena, so it just works out really well. So that's kind of why I really don't know if I would want to ever go away from Helena at this point. But yeah, they treat us really well, and we do like I said, we do all of our tissue sampling with them. So it's kind of like I really don't want to just 100% pull away from them, but just leave them the tissue sampling. That wouldn't set well, in my opinion. So, no, I agree. Like, especially in short beans, actually, Chet actually did a really cool video on Instagram, and I hope he I hope he does that also on YouTube, because it was a really impressive video showing the difference of running with and without. He was turning the air on and off back here on his switch box, turning it on and off, and showing the benefits of the air reel as far as how clean the sickle is, and how the beans are getting up onto the Draper belts a lot easier in especially in short beans. It was a great video, put it that way. It was awesome. So no, I know there's tremendous benefits there. It's just, we did not do it on our 35. I wouldn't be surprised we would do it on our 40-foot. So it's an idea I've been having for the past few years of, I think there's some potential there that we should be looking at putting an aerial system on it. So I know a few guys in the area. No, I think there's about 2 or 3 guys in the area that run McDon heads with Prairie aerial systems, or AW. No, an AW. one guy I know runs an AWS system. I think the other couple guys I think run Prairie Aerial on their Drapers, and all three I believe run McDonald's. So, have we tried FBN? I will not be an FBN member, and we are Pioneer seed dealers. So us being an FBN member, that would not work. So we are a 100% customer for Pioneer, and we buy seed from ourselves, and we sell seed for Pioneer, and we have a customer base also. So it's not something I would want to do. I don't personally want to be a part of FBN personally. So that's as far as what I'm going to say there. So, and it sounds like the little guy in there has calmed down. So hopefully you went to bed. What combines did we have before the 9650? So this would be, again, a good video if I were to sit down with Dad and basically say, well, really Grandpa, and say, start from the beginning, way back, even before 1960 when you were farming with your brothers, even up in the ordnance plant and stuff, and before you even started your farm in 1960, and going back to say like the new idea days. And but as far as what I can go back to is before the 9650, we ran a 8820, and at the time that was we were probably one of the bigger ones. The 8820 was big for us then. It was one of the big, 8820 was one of the biggest combines back then. And we had one of the bigger combines in the neighborhood then at that point. And then before the 8820, we actually ran a 6600 gas. Why a gas? It was supposed to be a diesel, but that was during the time where you could not be picky or choosy at that point. You literally got whatever John Deere could get in at that point, because that was, what was the deal then? Again, this is way before my time. This is back in the 70s. But again, this would be a good video sit down with Dad and Grandpa as far as an in-depth explanation on a lot of this stuff. But we ran a 6600 gas before the 8820. And before that, I couldn't tell you. I can't remember. I knew it at one time, but I can't remember for sure what we ran before the 6600. So, yeah, FBN can compare chemical prices. Yeah. So, does the green on the McDonald's side panels specify for a John Deere machine, like yellow for New Holland and red for a case? So that's kind of funny. There is a neighbor in the area that runs a McDon on a John Deere combine, but the side paneling is red. Now, it's got the red decal stripes, so you would think it's like, hey, that's a McDon head for a case combine, and it's running on a John Deere head. How's that work? So there's a faceplate adapter on that head. So the John Deere head actually flexes off the feeder house of the combine. So that head flexes off the feeder house of the combine. The McDon head does not have a flex sickle. The McDon head has 3-section flex, and so it's got wings, I guess you could say. So I guess I should turn this way. It's got wings and 3-section flex, and it actually has a faceplate adapter that the feeder house connects to, and that flexes off the faceplate adapter, not off the feeder house. So basically that head, so any McDon can run on any combine. I don't care. Our head, our FD140 could be put on a Case 8250. It could be put on a New Holland CR. I'm not too familiar with the New Hollands, but it could be put on a New Holland. It could be put on a Fenn Ideal. It could be put on whatever combine you want to put on. And basically, you just undo that faceplate adapter off the head and put a John Deere hookup, Case IH hookup, New Holland hookup, Fendt hookup, whatever you want. You can change. All you got to do is just change that faceplate adapter out. Now, granted, that's taking the whole adapter plate off and putting a totally different adapter plate on, for your combine hookup. So that's what makes the McDon head basically a universal head as far as that goes. It's basically for any combine at that point, which I believe they ended up buying. I don't know the whole backstory on that. I believe they ended up buying that from like a Case dealer or whatever. The neighbor did. And so that's why it has, I think, the red decal on it. And yeah, so everybody's like, you got a Case IH head on a S Series combine. How's that work? Well, you can change the adapter plate out. Well, you can? Yeah, you change the adapter plate out. So that's the real neat thing on the McDonald's there. So any combine, but then you got to change the adapter plate, which I think the adapter plate, if I remember right, is 3,000. Because I think at one time we were actually looking way back like a year and a half ago for like the FD1s and stuff. I think if I remember right, $3,000 or $3,500 for the adapter plate because there was like I don't know, I think there was a Case one that we found, and it's like, wow, that's actually a pretty good price. And we actually looked in and found out, I think, if I remember right, that's the price on the adapter plate of changing the adapter plate out so we could actually run it on ours. And I said, you know what? We were pricing around on McDon heads because we were going to buy a new one, but there was quite a difference between the new and this used price. And we priced Glasscock down at Petersburg, and we priced Plevna implement. And I knew Plevna dealt with a lot of Fendt and Massey Ferguson equipment. I told Dad, I'm like, you know what? I'm like, if we are going to buy a Draper head, we are making sure this Draper head has the green side paneling. I am not putting up with a silver or red or yellow, whatever. I'm like, it's got to be green. Has to match. Green and black has to match. I don't care the price as far as, well, to an extent I care about the price, but it's got to match. Not having red with green, or I can withstand the 8530 having a blue green card on it, and that's fine. I like the Kinsey green cards. I would love to have like a Kinsey 1303 or a 1300, 1303 or 1303, 1305. I don't know where I got the 3 from there, but 1305 would be sweet. But I'm not chucking out $140,000 for a green cart. So, but yeah, so that's the benefit there on the McDon. One benefit there. So not so much a benefit for us because it's kind of like, you just find the head that works for you as far as hookup goes, and you're good to go. Because we don't, we weren't. I was wanting, the green. Now, granted, you could buy the decal or buy the different side paneling. There's nothing different as far as header drive and all that goes because it's all universal for the head. So it's just the faceplate adapter and stuff. So. How big was the head on the 8820? Was it 25 foot? I believe, if I remember right, I believe that's the combine that we bought the 25-foot head for. I believe we were running that 25-foot head on that 8820, I believe. So we ran an 8-row wide on it originally because we ran wide rows for a while. and then we got the 893 that we had before the 12 row, which is that head's a 97. Dad, to be honest, did not know that, but I sent the serial number to our salesman when we were, well, he needed it mostly due to the fact that we were trading it into him to get the 12 row, but that was when I found out it was a 97, which Dad had no idea. We bought that ahead. That 893 came out of Illinois, and it had a boatload of acres on it then, and we put a boatload of acres on it since then. And I can't remember what year we actually got that, but we ran that on the 96, on the 8820 also, that 893. Yeah, so yeah, I watched that video from, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I watched that video from Welker's. Yeah, that's wow. Yeah. We will run this stream till 8:30. We'll run until 9, I guess, just depending on how the comments go here. Yeah, so sometime between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. I will have a video out for you guys tonight. Basically, it's just uploaded. All I have to do is just finish the thumbnail and finish the description and add some stuff to it, so then I can push it out to you guys and you guys can enjoy it. So sometime after the live stream, I will have a video out for you guys. So I screwed up on the community post. I said that it was going to be a video on the 30 intro beans. Technically it is at the very end of the video, but the next video, so tomorrow's video, will be on the 30 intro beans and talking about basically overall yield and side dressing benefits and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of you guys have been waiting for that video, and I will have that video out tomorrow morning sometime. So basically from here on out, I'm like 2 weeks behind on videos. Next video, let me just see here. I've actually got all my footage sorted out here for videos, all the way back to my first vlog, actually. That way I can just figure out how many videos of the like vlogs I actually have here. So vlog 185 will be out tonight. So 86, 87, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm actually 10 videos behind. I will have a video basically coming out every single day from here on out for quite a while. The Big Bud tractor, this isn't, so you might be confused. This is not Welker Farms. This is actually Werner Farms. Welkers are the ones that have the big buds. You're not the first person to actually get that mixed up. So like I was saying, there was 10. I'm 10 videos behind. Vlog 185 is coming out tonight, so 186 will be out tomorrow, and henceforth going on. So yeah, so video every single day here on out. I'll probably be filming tomorrow. Didn't obviously film really anything today, but yeah, so video here on out every single day. As far as a set time goes, probably sometime in the morning, like I've been doing. Probably anywhere between 7:30 and noon. So, yep, we're all green except for a international international disc and a international plow. So, which that disc hasn't seen daylight in That disc hasn't been out of the shed since probably 6 years, I would say. And if it does come out of the shed, it's just for projects like out at the woods and stuff like that, like when we're clearing woods. So when we don't want to use the AW disc behind the 730, which is now behind the 4020, it seems like more often than not. So what would be your next planter? So I get this a lot between the 12-row corn head with our 16-row planter and what we would do as far as upgrading a planter to match the 12-row if we would do that. So my thought is, and Dad's thought also, someday go to a 24-row planter, not only for spring efficiency, but also for machine matching with the or row matching with the 12-row corn head. Not that it's an issue as far as right now with the 12-row with a 16-row planter. The only thing running a 12-row corn head with a 16-row planter, if you don't plant RTK, you're going to have issues. So if you're planting like SF1, SF2 maybe, you're going to have issues because your row by row spacing is going to be off. With RTK, with us planting RTK, we have had 0 issues planting 16 rows and harvesting with a 12-row corn head. So that's why we didn't felt we didn't have or were going to have any issues, especially with our row by row spacing. So basically, it's just get your row by row spacing dialed in. You can run any head you want. So what would I like to go to is a 24-row planter, match great with the 12-row on the end rows. So that's the only thing. Opening up fields, it's not so much a pain. It's just kind of, we've gotten so accustomed to it. It's not a big deal whatsoever. So 2 full header widths and then 8 rows, not a big deal. Or a full header width and 4 rows, full header width and 4 rows, depending on which way you want to look at it there. Custom work is nice because that's all done with a 12-row planter. So it works out really well with a 12-row corn head, as it should. But yeah, that's the only thing. So, which that's not a big deal whatsoever. So, but to some it might be. To us, it's not a big deal at all. So, but yeah, 24-row planter. And what I would like to do is right off the bat, fully load that thing with precision. And Dad agrees with me 100%. Probably not to the max, but definitely clean sweep with the row cleaners. Shark tooth, Yetter row cleaners. We love those. Yetter 2x2, Yetter drag chains. Highly recommend all 3 of those. Yetter twister closing wheels. Recommend that one as well. Then Delta Force, obviously. Precision. I'm getting into precision planning stuff. Delta Force. I can't even think of it. V-Drive. Can't even think of that. V-Drive, FlowSense, and FlowSense is your liquid fertilizer monitoring as far as your flow rate, and V-Apply. Definitely V-Apply. That would be awesome. Be able to adjust your rates on the go. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So that's where, yes, 222 just asked about yes, you would need a bigger tractor for that. Yes. Technically, the 4650 could almost pull it. Could. But when you get into V-drives and all the electrical components, we are literally almost maxing out that alternator to the point where it's like at one point, when before we put LEDs on the back of that tractor. Now, the reason why we put LEDs on the back of that tractor is to reduce the amp draws on the alternator on that tractor. Because at one point, when what was the reason why we increased ampage? Somehow, I can't remember what we added. We somehow increased ampage off the alternator, and when we kicked the lights on at night, it would kick the auto steer out. Now, it wouldn't shut the screen down, it would just kick the auto steer out because the auto steer was taking up so much amps that it would literally kick the auto steer out when we kicked the lights on. So we put a bigger alternator on it, but we were still having issues. So I told Dad, I'm like, what we need to do is put LEDs on the back. So we put LEDs on the back, mostly due to that and also upgrading the lights, and worked out great, but we were still having almost a slight issue. So I think it was it last year? Might have been the year before. Last year or the year before, we put LEDs in the fenders on the front, and fender lights on the front. And a couple years back, I mounted an LED light bar, which I don't know, some company sent a few years back for the infrared tank, which that works out awesome. From this point on, we just keep the infrared tank on. We don't worry about switching the weight bracket off anymore. We just literally keep that infrared tank here on basically all the time now. But situation that we're in, so it's kind of like we almost necessarily don't need to upgrade tractors. You could just switch the 8530 off the drill, which all of you guys are like, why do you run the 8530 on the 20-foot drill when you could run it on a 40-foot planter? That is 100% Dad's decision. One, mainly because he mainly does the majority of the planting. I do some. He does the majority of the corn planting. I do all of the bean planting. Dad actually didn't even set foot in the drill. He hasn't, put it this way, Dad hasn't drilled beans in a long time. He did some replant this year, but he doesn't really drill beans anymore. That was Grandpa's job. Now it's mostly my job. Well, this year was 100% my job, except Dad did some replant while I was hauling corn. But I did a little bit of corn planting for the past couple of years now, and Dad just feels more comfortable with the 4650, knowing that transmission in and out. It's got the power shift in it, so I mean, there's literally nothing to it. Versus running the IVT, he still hasn't fully understood the throttle-based control of your speed. He's still learning at that, and plus, I'm the one who puts the majority of the hours on the 8530 to begin with, so that's mainly partly why Dad's not really broke into that tractor enough. So that's mostly part of that reason also. But 24-row planter, like I said, with all of that on it, I would prefer central fill just because acre growth and knowing that we could almost go to some bulk varieties or bulk in some varieties, because mainly we don't plant a boatload of varieties. We kind of keep it down. I don't think we even really plant more than 5 varieties. I know some do. Some would argue and say you need to be planting a boatload more varieties to spread your risk out, but necessarily we know what works best on our ground, especially with the insight knowledge that we got with being a Pioneer seed dealer. So we know what works best on our ground, and we know what works great on a lot of our customers' ground. So that's what, with us farming, very similar soil type, if not the exact same soil type, is what the majority of our customers are. That's what gives us, I feel, an upper hand over a lot of non-farmer sales reps. So but yeah, so what model planter or what brand? John Deere 1770, for sure. That's basically what we currently run right now. John Deere 1770, 16 row with boxes, with the tanks all the way across. That is a 93. No, It's a 90s. I don't know. I would have to send the serial number in for sure to get that run to figure out the year because Dad can't even. Dad doesn't even know the year at all. Grandpa kind of knows, he thinks. But yeah, so John Deere 17. We did look at the Kinsey planter. The Kinsey planter is pretty intriguing. We looked that down at the National Farm Machinery Show, so that's pretty interesting. So I guess explain, Wade, why we don't need the front duals. Now, a lot of guys will argue and say, by God, you need the front duals on at all times. So explain to me, I guess, why we would need it for a 20-foot drill and a 30-foot vertical till and running a no more than 1,000 bushel grain cart. Now, 1,000 bushel would be if it's heaped. So, I mean, in our opinion, now some guys would argue weight distribution. Okay, I can agree there. But the overall necessity, you have to have them. No, we don't need them. Now, someday, when we're running a 1,300 plus bushel grain cart, or a 35-foot vertical till, sure, I'd love them. I'd run them. Yeah, they're sitting in the shed right there. Yeah, I'd run them. Yeah, but right now, there's absolutely no need whatsoever for them right now. That's why we took them off and put them back in the shed. So the cameras that I film with, so I've got, ignore the first bag, that's my computer bag, but I'm actually down to one drone. So that's my GoPro bag, my Tenba GoPro bag. Highly recommend that. TENBA. You guys can go check them out. I keep all my GoPro mounts and accessories in there. I don't even take that out to the field anymore. I used to a couple years ago, and then last year I went to like this little Go Pack, which was actually a pretty good idea. I keep the Go Pack in there. Same company, Tenba. Just a little clear plastic, not really plastic, but nice little to-go bag, really. Just quick, all the main little accessories I need instead of carrying this around all the time. This does come in handy, though, to store all of my GoPro stuff. Basically keeps everything clean around on my office side, basically, as far as less clutter. So basically, 95% of my GoPro mounts are all in that bag. Mavic 2 Pro, no longer with me. Stuck in a tree that I can not even find over in Lakeville, Indiana. So I'm not getting that thing back. Eventually, I will be getting another one here. Haven't decided when I'm going to pull the trigger on it, but eventually I will be replacing, or not replacing, but I guess getting another one to replace the lost one, I guess. And but then I got my DJI Phantom 4 Pro in that big case there, and then the case beyond that's just nothing but batteries, a battery case. So basically, I've got 12 batteries up here. You guys can't even really see the Phantom batteries; you can barely see them. But I've got 12 batteries for that. 2 batteries for my what's that even called? It's a monitor. Oh, Crystal Sky. So this is my Crystal Sky display monitor. I got the larger one. Basically, what this is, it's just an external display. Instead of using your phone or your iPad, you would use this. This has a much brighter screen than your traditional phone or iPad screen. I think this Lumen put out, I think it's like 30. Don't even quote me, guys. Just go on the website, DJI website, Crystal Sky. I've got the larger one of the two, and it's actually the brighter one, which is partly why I got it, especially on bright sunny days. Highly recommend in direct sunlight. So And then I've got 8 batteries for a Mavic 2 Pro drone that I don't even have anymore. But I will, again, like I said, get one of those ordered here. I do have the mounting bracket for that drone on the controller itself, on the old style controller, which is up there, for a mini Crystal Sky for that. But then I ended up going with the DJI Smart Controller. But for filming for the majority of the vlogs, this is the same setup that I believe Rush Farms down in Vincennes, so Alex and all those guys run. I believe just the same setup, I believe. If not, he's still running it or he changed. GoPro Hero 8. This is an idea that actually Rush got from Welker, which I got from both of them, and magnet mount with 360 swivel up here and GoPro mount up here. And yeah, so just hold and shoot and stick anywhere you want, anything on the metal surface. And then basically, depending on the video, anywhere from 25 to 80% of the shots come from this thing, head strap, literally. A lot of guys have actually requested seeing this, how this actually works. Literally just like this, guys. And you just tilt, basically you just get your angle right. And this actually took some trial and error as far as getting the right angle. And basically now I just know the right angle just by eyeballing it at this point. But this takes some time as far as fine-tuning that and getting the right angle for the right shots, as far as, when you're bending down and you're not showing, I don't know, your crotch, or I don't know, you're actually, when you're bending down and actually using your hands, you don't want to just, I don't know, show your crotch or anything, or I don't know, show way out too far that you're not even seeing exactly what you're doing with your hands. So it takes some time of getting used to as far as dialing this in. But when you get it dialed in, this thing is awesome. So that's where anywhere from 25 to about 85% of the shots come from, just depending on the video, and vice versa with this. So highly recommend GoPro Hero 8. I know they just came out with the 9. I'm not going to be getting the 9 just because I don't like the front LCD screen or LCD screen on it. It's a neat idea, but for the purpose of what I'm doing, some say, or some would argue and say that your vlog would be a perfect example of why you should get it with the front screen. I dual purpose these and use these for not only but mounting on, say, the planter or places that no camera should really be put. So it's kind of like I really don't want to abuse that screen to the point where you're just going to end up cracking it anyway. So actually, was it the one I grabbed? No, this one. This one I actually ran over with a grill and smoked that one. That one was actually the Lost GoPro video. So this one actually has a cracked screen on the back. I don't know if you guys can see that. And cracked screen, or the drill blade or the disc opener actually went right across right there, but still works. Screen fully works there. Nothing wrong with it. 100% great. So that's why I don't want to go to the Hero 9s. Otherwise, I would. And no, I do not have merch through Farm Focused. I just have a Farm Focused sweatshirt. So, but if you guys do want merch, I do have sweatshirts and t-shirts for sale. And I will post the link to the website right now. And there is no space between Werner Farms and IN. It's just www.wernerfarmsin.com. So there you go. And all that you can get through Amazon, as far as the vlog stick with the GoPro or with the magnet mount on it. All that's through Amazon. Which, if you guys actually want, you can actually type in, like, say on Google, type in Werner Farms Amazon list. I think. I think. Let me just do it right now and see if that'll take you right where I want you guys to go if you guys are interested in that stuff. Just type in Werner Farms Amazon, and first thing that'll come up is Werner Farms Amazon page. And so you want to go to YouTube gear, and it should. Yeah, so there's a stick, there's the 360 swivel, there's the GoPro mount itself. Now, the magnet mount, that is not listed on here, but he's got, I think, a magnet on here somewhere. Yeah, he's got the magnet there. I don't know if I used that one. I used a different one, I think. But yeah, then I think for attaching the magnet, well, you actually go to DJI Osmo action camera with aluminum case, and there's actually a magnet mount with the bolt to actually screw into the base. So all that you guys can get on Welker's page. That's where I ended up ordering majority of that stuff, but except the magnet. So, and actually I just saw something I want to actually look into off of his, which is no, that's actually something different. Never mind. Some of you guys were complaining about the wind noise on one of the latest videos, which I apologized, I think, like 2 times in that video about the wind, which again, I apologize, but there's nothing I can really do about the wind as far as that day goes. But I'm considering putting a shotgun mic or windsock mic on the GoPro. I really don't like to do it, just because then it takes the audio from bidirectional or from the 360 point of view as far as audio coming from or absorption. So it's literally a 180 pan at that point, or 120 pan, I think. Some of you guys, this is probably going way over your guys' head about what I'm talking about as far as bidirectional or shotgun mic or my 180 or 120 pan there. But basically, it just takes the audio absorption from a 360 view from the GoPro down to like a 180 facing the mic. Which you can pick up GoPro audio from behind the mic, but it's not as great because it's mainly trying to focus on capturing what's directly in front of the mic. So that that's why I haven't jumped on a mic like that yet, guys. So I don't know. Still doing some thinking on it. I don't know. Maybe after harvest I'll look into doing something, but I'm not really worried about it right now. So it's we're too far into harvest right now, and I really don't want to switch anything up during harvest, which I ended up changing the coloration on the GoPros. So probably within the next 7 videos, after 7 videos, I think roughly you might see like a slight change as far as overall appearance of the videos and stuff. I messed with some coloration and settings on the GoPros. I haven't really ever really changed much as far as going deep into the film settings on the GoPros. I only changed, like, say, the resolution and frames per second. So I'm experimenting with, I've been filming in 1080 60, so HD for simple terms, and then 60 frames per second. And I'm switching to going back to 4K because I used to run in 4K, but then just export in 1080p. So I'm running now in 4K at 24 frames per second, and I almost kind of like that now instead of 1080 at 60p or FPS. So it's kind of like it's a toss up, but I like the settings I'm running now almost better than what I'm running before. I love the settings a lot better at night. What I've done at night, I've improved the the low light setting, so it's not so granulated at night, in my opinion. Because a lot of guys were complaining about how granulated it is at night and about how dark it seems like. I've changed that and boosted some ISO settings at night. So basically, I switched from standard to a custom. Use Adobe Lightroom for editing. Some guys ask me about that too. Adobe Lightroom, highly, highly recommend. That is an awesome app to edit on. So, again, I don't upload in 4K. Like I said, I export in 1080. Reason why I just film in 4K, film in 4K is just because it looks better as far as editing goes. Makes editing just a little bit easier to work with. But again, I export in 1080p, so I always upload all the vlogs and stuff in 1080p, so or HD. So, so we'll run this till 9 o'clock, and I'll get a video for you guys out here real quick here. So sometime before 10 o'clock. So at least 10 o'clock my time. I know some of you guys are on a different time zone. So how many GoPros do I have? I have four GoPro Hero 8s. So mainly use 3. Fourth one is technically a extra or one for Dad if I can ever break Dad into using the GoPros, which he's slowly working towards that. But yeah. Yep, so that's on my GoPros and my film equipment there. So just going through comments here, guys. Where could I get a magnet mount? So the magnet mounts, I got those for Amazon. So yeah, I would just go on Amazon and just kind of start browsing. So that's my only advice there, because I can't remember offhand. I probably have the link somewhere on order history on Amazon or on my Amazon list, which I haven't made that public yet, which is basically a lot of stuff that I have, and also like flash drives and stuff. So it saves me time hunting these things down. I can just go on my list and just order this stuff. So yeah, I love Amazon. Oh, so this is one I wanted to discuss also. So, do you guys ever see buying a second combine? So, I know Zach used to run 2 combines, a 9650 and a 9870, which, for those of you that don't know, we almost were going to do that. And honest to God, we did not know. And this was before I was even watching Minnesota Millennial Farmer at the time. We were originally looking at a 9870, and the idea came about that what if we ran 2 combines and we could run 1 combine over in Wanata doing custom work and 1 combine here on ours and keep the 9650, which that would have been awesome. And then in the next year, replace or update the 9650 to a 70 series. And that was an idea at one time, but then a couple 9870s later that slipped through the cracks on us. Well, the one did, and the other one we looked at, and it just wasn't. Cosmetically, it was not taken care of. Mechanically, it was all right. Cosmetically, it was not taken care of whatsoever. So we passed on that one, and that was at the auction at Maury's. And that was actually the combine we looked at the beginning of the video. And so if you guys want to check that out, it should be Maury auction somewhere of that sort. Literally, all you have to do, if you want to see that video, it's got like 160,000 views that I put out. And if you guys want to watch that video, it's like a 56-minute long video. It has a whole bunch of auction highlights. I get in some equipment there. I show off the 690, and I didn't at the time when I was filming that, I had no idea we were actually going to buy it. The 9870's in there, and like I said, a whole boatload of equipment that got auctioned off that I showed highlights of. All you have to do, if you want to watch this video, instead of hunting through my videos to try and find it, just type in Maori auction, literally up in the Google search bar, and it should literally pull up for video. So just Maori auction, Mowrey auction, and literally scroll down on Google, and Google should have a tab for like videos towards the bottom, and it literally says, or my video is literally at the top of their auction list there. So yeah, 51 minutes and 48 seconds. And yeah, that was a pretty awesome day. December 19th at 7:32 p.m. at night was when we bought the 690. So, but back to the 2 combine question. Possibly, I doubt it, but it would be cool to run 2 combines in beans. Do not need to run 2 combines at all in corn. 2 combines in beans would be awesome, but not with the acres we currently run. If we were running, say, like 3,500 acres total, not of beans, but just total cropped acres, I would love to run 2 combines and run 2 in beans and 1 in corn then. So that would be my plan someday if we ever did that, or we're ever at that acre mark. So, which hopefully someday we could be. Yeah. As far as like a second combine goes, probably like a 680, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily say we need by no means, another 690 or a class 9 combine. I would say like a 680 for beans. I mean, that would be awesome. But yeah, like I said, it's all about power and efficiency and stuff like that with combines, in my opinion. But at that point, you would need more manpower as far as, somebody running grain carts, somebody running semis, and 2 guys running combines, which obviously, I mean, that would be, grain cart and the 2 combines, that would be between Dad and me. But, you'd need a 3rd guy running grain cart, obviously, and another guy running semis. So, yeah. But I mean, like, that's nothing we need to worry about right now at all. I mean, unless we're running 3,500 acres, which again, someday I would, that's my goal someday, is to run 3,500 acres. So, yeah, someday. How many bushels can your cart hold? So heaped bushels right at 1,000. So with the board extensions, it's pretty much right at 1,000. Yeah, so that was the idea at one time, running a 9870 with the 9650, run the 9650 one more year, bump that off and get like another 70 series and run 2 70 series combines, which looking back, that would have been awesome, but I'm really, really happy that we got the S series. This 690 is awesome, put it that way. I mean, and looking out also, it's just like, okay, manpower, we would need another guy to run grain cart and beans. Necessarily not running a grain cart and beans is kind of like yes and no. It definitely helps in high yield beans. Like, say, when you're in low yield beans, it's kind of like, well, it is, it helps, but don't get me wrong though, grain cart helps regardless, but you could run 2 combines without a grain cart and just dump on the trucks. I mean, you are you're probably like, as far as efficiency goes, without running a grain cart with 2 combines, you're running probably about as much as what a 1.5 combines would run. So with a grain cart. So yeah, it's all about comparison there. So I mean, you could run a grain cart, but I mean, you're talking more manpower then. But someday, like I said, someday, uh, when we're running 3,500 acres, which hopefully someday. How many bushels can your combine hold? 400. And that is completely full. So we have run it over quite a few times in irrigated corn, just trying to make it to the end. And yeah, like I discussed earlier in the earlier part of the stream about hopper extensions and stuff like that. So that all my opinion on that. But no cab corn yet this year. Had some ladder corn just from dribbling out the corners, but no cab corn yet. And that's the thing. Like with the S series, it's some guys would argue and say what, but some guys probably understand where I'm coming from. It's sometimes kind of hard to get cab corn. I mean, most of the time it seems like we can get ladder corn no problem with trickling out the corners of the canvas flaps there, but cab corn's almost sometimes hard to come by with this thing. Unless you literally, when that buzzer goes off for 4/4 full or 4/4 full, you're jerking that hydrostat back and you dip that combine forward just a little bit. Yeah, you're gonna get some cab corn then. But when you get that, what we did was with the grain tank sensors, we moved that one down enough so that we've got like about 30 seconds. Say if you're running, let's just say you're running 5 mile an hour, you've got about a 30-second window there to slow down enough, so you're slowly pulling that hydrostat back. So you're not, some guys literally pull that thing back and, you're dipping that combine down and it's just like, you're going to get cab corn. But, we've got it figured out. So it's like you got a 30-second window to pull the hydrostat back out of 5 mile an hour, slow that combine down, and pick up and I don't know, either dump on the grain cart depending on where you're at in the field, or just pull up and dump on the truck. So, yeah. What kind of drone do I have? Literally, Kent, if you were just getting in here, you just missed that conversation about 15 minutes ago. So I had a DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and I'm going to end up getting another one here. I got it up in the tree, and operator error. I was filming a property and real estate property up in Lakeville, and got it out in the woods. And yeah, so that's not coming back. My other drone, which is right behind me, right there in that case, is a DJI Phantom 4 Pro. So, interested in any case tractors, like maybe a quad track like Larson's? You might want to slip clutch for your unload auger by Lakota. Yeah. I'd be open to trying a case tractor. If somebody wants to bring me out something, sure. What I would really like, if anybody is watching, is a grain cart demo. Yeah, I would really like a grain cart demo, a larger grain cart to try out, but I don't think that's going to happen for some reason. So kind of sucks, but I don't know. So I wish our John Deere dealer would work with me more. Some would argue and say, well, you got a 680 demo last year. The 680 was not necessarily the demo. The 680 was there because that 2017 Draper that they brought out would not work on our combine without changing something in the single point, and they would not bring that out because they had to change change something in our single point. And I'm like, well, if you want to sell us or try and sell us a Draper, we're going to need to honestly take a look at it. And I said, I guess if it's not going to work on our combine, I guess maybe would you be able to bring out a combine to run that on? And he it was almost like pulling teeth to try and get something as far as that goes. And it's like, in all honesty, we did not know if we would like the John Deere Draper, which, in all honesty, guys, I love that Draper. That John Deere Draper is awesome. The only disadvantages we see with it, comparing that to our McDon, is weight, which it's 1,000 pounds heavier, and two, it's all direct drive shaft driven instead of ours being hydraulic driven and belt driven. So the sickle drive is directly driven shaft by shaft on that John Deere Draper. It's got more gearboxes than the McDon by a lot, and the sickle drive is on the McDon is actually belt driven, which is, some will argue and say, oh, you'll stall that out, like our salesman said. Well, we've never, in all honesty, have never stalled the sickle out. Now, this year we did. This year on that 40-foot, we did stall the sickle out, but that was because we were cutting crossways on 30-inch row beans. That's when you'll stall the sickle out, which we did. So, and our only defense there was we were opening up around the plot, and we did not have end rows on the backside of the plot, so that's why. But that's basically my honest takeaway on it. I mean, put it this way, I love the John Deere Draper. Both Dad and I were going into it saying, we didn't really think we were going to like the John Deere at all because of the negative comments that we've heard about them, comparing them to a McDon, which, when it was all said and done, we were, honest to God, very impressed with it. And we, put it this way, when we got that John Deere Draper out, the salesman set it up, basically put us in the combine and said, all right, here's the head, enjoy, for the evening, and ran it for 4 hours. Literally, I ran that thing till, it was right at the 4-hour mark, because I wanted to utilize 2 combines as much as we could. And next, the McDon guys actually brought up a brand new McDon. So they actually had a service technician come out and set that all up on our combine, and walked us through every detail on the head, comparing it to the FD70 that we currently had, to showing us all the new features and updates and everything, which still at that time we had no idea the benefits on that John Deere. This salesman hadn't walked us through anything yet, so we were pretty blind at that point to the John Deere. The next day, we actually had the opportunity to run that McDon head for the next 3 days, 2 or 3 days after that day, which was awesome. We really appreciate the equipment company for letting us do that, Glasscox. And the next day, our John Deere salesman was coming over to get it. And we're glad that we made I can't remember what remark Dad made about it, that it was something, I think, about in-cab belt visibility, because on the McDon, with that faceplate adapter, it sets that McDon far enough away that you don't see the full belt width. Whereas on the John Deere, it sets a lot closer because there's no faceplate adapter separating the head from the feeder house, and you can see almost the entire belt width on the John Deere, which I was really interesting. We've only been able to see a quarter of the belt width on our McDon, and that's all we've been used to because that was the only Draper that we ever ran. And we, I think it was some remark about the belt visibility and about comparing that to McDon that our salesman jumped immediately on to telling us all the feature differences then. and the benefits of the John Deere over the McDon, which that was when we got to learn all about the features and the components and everything, all the wear components and everything that the John Deere has over the McDon, which there is some nice features on there compared to the McDon that we liked that the McDon doesn't have. The Flex Sickle is really cool. Really like that, but for the most part, we don't need it. But on ridge fields, if we were harvesting some ridge fields, that would be a tremendous benefit. But for us having our fields relatively, for the most part, flat with no ridging, I keep thinking I'm going to say ridges, but it's irregardless, whatever. So ridging, that's where it necessarily we don't need it, but some places we could actually utilize it, say on custom work maybe. But yeah, so that's how the whole demo went down. So that's really the only demo that we actually got. The 680 wasn't the demo. We weren't looking at a 680 combine at all, because technically, I mean, that would almost be downgrading for us coming from a 690 standpoint. But technically that 680, being it's a 2016, it actually had more capacity as far as sieve capacity goes, or cleaning capacity. Well, really overall cleaning capacity. It's got larger sieves in it, a larger sieve area, but it also overall the cleaning capacity is bigger in that 2016 S680 versus 2012 S690. So, and the LED light package was nice on it. I think there was a package on it that had, or they did a PIP update on that combine, or the difference on the 2016 versus 12. It had different door seal style or seals on the cab, so a lot quieter of a cab, which that was one of the first things we noticed. Some in the hydrostat handle, there's some different component controls, which is kind of interesting. I think there was some machine sync controls on there, which was kind of cool. But otherwise, I mean, we weren't looking at that combine. It did have the advanced PowerCast tailboard, which at first we thought we were going to like. In all honesty, I don't like that. I like just the original style PowerCast. So, yeah, so that's the whole takeaway on the demo thing. Like I said, I wish our John Deere dealer would work with me more. I feel I could do them a great thing promoting a lot of their stuff and doing a lot with Greenmark, but I don't know. I don't know why I can't seem to work with our salesman more. I was this close, and I don't understand what the heck happened here. They had a boatload of 8245Rs. You know, this was on the kick of when our salesman really wanted us to, and I think he still does, which I understand his point of view on us getting an 8245R. They had a boatload of 8245Rs, and he said, you know, since you bought, because I bought the applicator, the 28 applicator from him, and I said, so since I'm buying a 28 applicator from you, would it be possible to say have you guys just bring it out on the 8245R? You know, that way, you know, you don't have to, you could just load the applicator there and with the 8245R, and I'll use it for partially drilling beans and run it on side dressing corn partially. And that was actually the plan. He was going to bring, you know, I was going to get an opportunity to run an 8R and an 8245R. And it was said like 3 different occasions that was going to happen, or that they were going to bring out an 8245R for me to film with and basically say, you know, if you're interested in 8245R, come check out, you know, our complete lineup of 8245Rs that we have sitting on the lot. And they had a boatload of them. I mean, there was like 30 or 40 of them that between all their stores that they were wanting to get rid of. And I'm like, sweet, I'm going to get a really cool demo out of this. I'm going to get to actually utilize an 8R, which, that would be the newest tractor that we've ever had on the farm. And that would be awesome. But they, like I said, it was said on 3 different occasions this whole entire spring that was going to happen, and nothing ever happened. Like literally all of a sudden everything just went quiet, and I haven't heard anything from our salesman since. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was kind of like, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, it would have been a pretty cool video for you guys. You guys would have enjoyed that. I mean, it's all about promoting and talking about products and stuff like that. I mean, what am I? I'm an influencer, I mean, that's what we all are, all the, between Larson's, between Welker's, between LR and Rush Farm, Hartongs, Browns, Sieglers, Flippin', How Farms Work, Millennial Farmer, all of us guys, I'm sorry if I missed somebody. Dirt Grain and Steel, definitely go check him out. Literally a neighbor of ours just south of here, North Judson Farms, and does a lot of excavating stuff and does some gold rush stuff. So I would highly check him out. But yeah, it's just like stuff like that. It's just like, I'm sorry if I missed any of you guys. I watch all of you guys, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, I know we don't buy new equipment. I know we don't, but my big thing is it's like we do buy a boatload of parts. I mean, stuff breaks. We buy a boatload of parts. I know everybody does, that doesn't buy new equipment. You're buying parts. And we buy used equipment. And yeah, granted, auction, there's some auctions that you can get some pretty good deals on. Let's say the 8530. The 8530 was an awesome deal. Right place, right time deal over there with Steph's group at Mount Pleasant at the Ag Iron auction. We were going to buy that from the John Deere dealer out there in Iowa because it was on consignment, but we missed it by 1 week and it got sent to auction. And we were just lucky enough that we got it, and it was awesome that we got it. And yeah, Erin down in Indiana, I remember. Yeah, she's got. Yeah, I found her on TikTok before I found her on YouTube. Believe it or not, just scrolling through the For You page. And yes, I do. I don't do anything really on TikTok at all, but I do have a TikTok. So if you guys are interested in that, it's the same thing, Werner_Farms. So, but yeah, border view. Yep. Like I said, I'm sorry if I missed anybody. It was just reeling through my head off some majority of the guys that I could think of right off the top of my head. But yeah, yeah, I got same thing. Snapchat's Werner_Farms also. So, WERNER. So, but yeah, it's just like, the same thing with the 690. The 690, that was a good deal. That was an insanely good deal. Insanely. Now, if you look back at it now, comparing like things are worth now, a 2012, you're talking 2 years difference now, as far as when we got it versus now. We got it in 2018. Cole the Corn Star. Yep, I missed him. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm sorry if I missed anybody. But yeah. But it's just like, I just wish I could work with our John Deere dealer, or a John Deere dealer, put it that way, because Castonia's is literally a stone's throw that way, straight shot from the farm that way, like right over into Porter County, just south of Alpo, right there. Literally, you get on 1500, changes over into 300 on the other side of 421. Boom, you're right at Castonia's. And it's just like, I almost wish I could work with them because they're that close on demos. But I'm not upset by any means. as far as the demo thing go, you know, I mean, it's kind of like it is what it is, because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't even get a chance at it, you know, a chance at being able to demo equipment. But it's just one of those things where it's like, as a YouTube influencer, you know, I just wish I had the opportunity to not only have it for ourselves to try out for our farm to see, you know, if this is something that we want for our operation. Yeah, operation. I'm kind of like my mouth's getting dry, guys. I've been talking for over 2 hours here, and I don't even have water here. Um, but not only, you know, but also for you guys, because you guys get to see the equipment in action, because some of you guys might not even get to have the opportunity to demo it. So then you'd be able to actually see it from my point of view, or say from, you know, Cole's point of view, Zach's point of view, Brian's point of view, Ryan's point of view, Alex's point of view down in Vincennes, you know, all these guys' point of views, and get an idea. It's like, okay, you know, maybe this is something you want to add to your operation, like from Chet, you know, with the grain cart. I mean, that is crazy. That is awesome that they've got that big of a grain cart that they're running. That is awesome. Or, you know, like with Zach right now with the quad track, you know, that's cool with the high-speed disc. The high-speed disc thing, that would be really cool to try out versus our vertical till. You know, is that something that we would want to consider, you know, instead of utilizing the vertical till? I don't know, because we've never run one. We've never seen one. We've never tried one out. I don't know. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, I feel like that's, I don't know. We're good friends with our salesmen, but at least from our point of view, we seem to be good friends with him. My printer's talking to me. I don't know. What the heck are you doing? You're calibrating. Why are you calibrating? I don't know. But it's just like, what the heck? So like a lot of you guys want me to go work with Reynolds. We actually, funny story about that. We actually, about, what's the year, 2020? What the heck? Why did I just say that? I just completely forgot the year there for a second. So 3 years ago, 2017, we were coming back from Indianapolis, Pioneer kickoff meeting, and Dad and I, we were coming up past Atlanta there, and Reynolds has an equipment dealership right there in Atlanta. And they have, if those of you that have been to the Atlanta dealership, you guys know what I'm talking about. They have an insanely great lineup of equipment along the highway there. Combines there. So we pulled over because, I mean, we were looking at the time. And they had a 9870 there with a folding auger. And that's actually one of the combines we were originally looking at for a long time there. But when the actual time rolled around, when we said, all right, we are actually seriously looking for a combine, I went back online and looked, and I'm like, man, we just missed it, because I kept that tab open on my phone. I don't know if some of you guys do this or not, but if you see something that you're kind of like, you know, we've got our eye on that, we might do something, I'm just going to keep that tab on my phone, kind of, you know, sit there and refresh it every once in a while and say, all right, do you guys still have that? You know, that was the same thing with that Castonia deal. I've been watching that for 9 months now, you know, just off and on. They still have that? Yeah, they still do. I'm just going to keep an eye on that. And, you know, that's, you know, we missed it by like a couple of days, I think, on that 9870. But yeah, so I think, I mean, let's just go on Google Maps here. I wish I could do like screen sharing with you guys with like the OBS software or OSB software, whatever it's called. So I can show you guys what I'm pulling up here on the computer. But the internet's just slow enough that it doesn't work. I tried it one time, it just doesn't work. But so Reynolds farm equipment. Let's just see all locations here. So we're based out of Hanna, Indiana, Wanata, Indiana area. Close closest one is literally it's the Atlanta store. It's the Atlanta store. So right off of there, 31. Yeah. So that would be a tad bit too far, I would think, for them to actually do anything with me as far as demos go, because let's just do location directions here. I mean, they're 2 hours away. I mean, no, I seriously doubt that. But yeah. Don't get me wrong. They could service us. But I just feel that would almost be too far for them to actually consider doing anything demo-wise as far as not... Because that's the problem. I think a lot of companies, majority of the time, they're wanting to demo something to sell it to you, not to sell it to the audience, like what I would want to do. But they want to sell it to the person they're demoing it to, which I understand, but if I ever got the chance to say run an 8RX, am I going to be buying that thing right on the spot? Dude, if I had $500,000 laying around, I'd be buying that. Yeah, sure. But you know what? I'd probably utilize that $500,000 and go off and make a down payment on a piece of land. I mean, in my opinion, that would be money more well spent than buying an 8RX. Just my thought. I mean, my takeaway. I mean, some of you guys might have a different point of view, but I would take that money and, I don't know, put towards, land or updating something out at the bin site, doing something, but more than likely, if I had $500,000 laying around, that would go towards land. But I don't have $500,000 laying around, so I guess I don't have that problem right now. But yeah, I mean, that's just my thought. I mean, I've got a guy that I'm buddies with. He's a year or two younger than me. I met him down at the National Farm Machinery Show, and he's just south of me he works out of the Green Mark store down at Monticello, and he really wishes I could actually get John Deere equipment demos from Green Mark. And he's just like, I don't understand. He's just like, you do good videos, you get decent views. He's like, I think if you would get some demos, he's like, your views would pick up a lot more, which I agree. But you don't have an immensely big following compared to the other ones, but you have a good following. You don't put out like crazy hilarious videos or anything. You just put out good, hard, educational videos as far as, that people want to sit down and watch and learn from, which I agree. I mean, that's why I do it, to teach you guys what we do and show you guys what we do. Which that's what everybody else is doing. But I don't have like equipment getting stuck in the mud. I don't have equipment, getting broke down to the 7th degree or something like that. But, the cat demo, the cat demo was cool. I mean, that was awesome. Well, Zach Johnson got one too, and he was actually the one that got that before Larson. But still, I mean, that was something I never even would have thought of. Something like that. But they actually run a cat track tractor to begin with. So that was kind of cool to see the comparison there. Challenger and stuff like that. But I don't know. I mean, it's just I guess my 2 cents at 9:30 on a Sunday night. But again, I'm not complaining. Some of you guys might take it away that I'm complaining, but I'm not. I'm just saying I'm just surprised that I can't get our John Deere dealer to jump on the demo. I guess you could say it's a demo wagon, really. To not only try something out for our farm to see if it's beneficial to look at for future purchase for our farm, or to sell it to the audience. Again, it all goes back to selling yourself to the audience and showing you guys, this is a product from this company. This company does this for us. So maybe you want to work with them because look what they do for us. This is what Dad and I have talked about for a long time, saying, that's where a lot of these benefit from the YouTube, because it's just like you look at it and say, man, look what they're doing with Zach. Look what they're doing with Larson's. I want to go work with that company because look what they're doing with them. They're willing to demo equipment with them. I want to go work with them because they want to, they service stuff for them. Hey, we're close. We're not too far from them. Let's go work with them. That's the way Dad and I have always saw that kind of stuff. Like saying, uh, it drums up a boatload more business. As far as analytics go, can the dealer actually sit down and say, this person's walking in and saying, hey, I saw you guys worked with Larson Farms, or you guys worked with How Farms Work. I'm coming in because, I want to work with you guys because you did a video or you brought out some equipment or did something, and it doesn't even go back to Y drop. I've got like 3 different things buzzing through my head here as far as, like the Y dropping that Larson or that Ryan shows with his nutrient dealer, promoting the nutrient dealers as well. I tell you the companies or the names of the elevators that we're going to, especially like Co-Alliance, because our grain broker up in Union Mills, he really appreciates me doing videos up at Union Mills. He was actually upset the one day I rolled in and I'm coming in with beans and we weren't, it's a long story, but we weren't selling them. It's for somebody else, but I was coming in with beans and he was like, by God, you've been posting videos from up at Cargill, up at Burns Harbor. By God, when are you going to get some footage of us and get some footage up on YouTube of Union Mills? I'm like, calm down, dude. I've already got footage. I'm actually filming the day. I'm like, I literally just filmed the whole, dump process and everything. I'm like, calm down. I'm like, that video's coming out. I'm like, I just got to get it edited and get it up on YouTube. It's just like, calm down. So it's kind of like that's why I promote, not only the equipment companies, like saying, like, oh, hey, I bought the applicator from Greenmark, or, oh, hey, this is a demo from Greenmark, or, oh, hey, we bought the head from Castonia's. Oh, hey, we're working with Glasscock's on this demo. Oh, we Co-Alliance, working with Co-Alliance on grain and stuff like that, working with Co-Alliance on liquid fertilizer, working, Malden Elevator, Co-Alliance, Malden, Union Mills Elevator, Co-Alliance, Burns Harbor, Cargill. You can't just promote the equipment. You got to promote the services that you also do with other companies. It's eye-opening for a lot of people that aren't in farming, because then they recognize some of the names, say driving around on the countryside saying like, wonder what Co-Alliance is. Well, you watch a video like one of mine and you realize, oh, Co-Alliance not only does seed, they do, they sell seed, they're full service they're full service as far as meeting your seed, chemical, nutrient, and all those needs. But I'm not going to promote their seed too much because, hey, we're a Pioneer seed dealer, so buy seed from us. But Cargill especially. I mean, Cargill is a pretty well-known name. Burns Harbor might not look like a totally impressive facility, but it is a really impressive facility. I mean, some of you guys maybe along the Mississippi are probably like, we've got a more impressive facility, which I agree. I mean, you guys probably over there, some facilities along the Mississippi River are pretty impressive. But, when we roll in up there and I'm showing, people from around here that don't farm, but watch and see this and say, holy cow, you take your grain all the way up there and you're right there practically by Chicago, right there on the tip of the lake. You're right, you're going into places that we've never seen before, like up by the steel mills. That's so cool. I don't know. Or like, like what Chet does with agricultural chemical solutions, like stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We've so Conklin. Conklin. Where do I? So we've utilized their products. So we're going to run this till 10 o'clock. Obviously 9:30 or 9 o'clock was a long time ago. So we're going to run this till 10 o'clock. But Conklin, we used we've been trying some Conklin stuff over the past couple of years. We didn't do any this year. Actually, one of my first vlogs was on a Wex trial, and no, we didn't see any benefit there for Wex. We did an Intensify trial, which is an in-furrow treatment trial. Did not see any benefit there either. But we found out the reason on that was there's a couple of key ingredients in that in-furrow mix from the Intensify that we're actually utilizing in our in-furrow mix that we work with our agronomy guys. So or private consulting agronomy guys that we work with our soil and our agronomy and stuff like that. So that is why we did not see a benefit from Intensify. So if we weren't running that in-furrow mix, we probably would see a little bit of a benefit, but probably not as much as a benefit as what we're currently running as far as an in-furrow mix goes from the guys that we're working with. So yeah. Last week of means 2 years. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, there's some conversations going on inside the chat here. I didn't realize that. I'm kind of reading. I'm like, wait, what? We do sometimes bale straw. Not ourselves, but we do drop straw and have neighbors bale it. So sometimes. So. To be honest, I've actually not looked into agricultural chemical solutions. The only reason I know of them is because of Chet. And I know they're from Indianapolis, but like I said, we've been working with Helena on tissue sampling and stuff. So not only do we get all of our chemical from them, but we do tissue sampling with them. So that's why I've never really looked at anybody else really the past couple of years. So, but I mean, it doesn't hurt to look. So, yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's my takeaway on the demo thing. That's it. It's almost discouraging to the fact that I can't show you guys products that I wish I could show you, because I know there was last year actually a 780 floating around. Literally, it was literally right here next to the farm at one point, and a 780 with a folding 12 row. And I was hoping, like, all get out, that I was going to be able to get the option to run that for you guys, to show you guys, you know, this is the current combine that we have, but there's one even better than ours, you know, as far as, you know, all the features, the new, you know, the newer style hydrostat, a folding 12 row corn head. That would be awesome to have someday, but I wish we got a chance to look at it. I don't know. I don't know what the deal was there. You know, again, that was current time for me is 9:36. I'm on Central Time. So that it was one of those things where it's like, man, it's right there, right down the road from the farm. I literally can see it. What the heck, you know? And nope, never got the chance at it. I don't know what the deal was, but yeah, like I said, it's all about selling the product to the audience, not selling the product to the person you're demoing it to necessarily. You're more focused on trying to, yes, you know, every salesman wants to sell every piece of equipment they bring out to the farm, or, you know, every salesman wants to sell every product that they bring out to the farm to you. But not every piece of equipment, not every product is going to work for every operation the same as it does for another operation. So I guess that's where salesmen need to understand that there's a larger audience. Not only, I guess, take a look at it this way. say, you take like a farmer that does not do YouTube, does not have any social media, so it's a lot harder for neighbors to know what goes in on your operation. And say, let's just take Greenmark for example. Greenmark brings them out something to try out, and there's a guy that's halfway between Castonia's and Greenmark, on the fence, not really knowing. He's been dealing with Greenmark a little bit on parts, but he also deals with Castonia's on parts, and gets service some mostly from Greenmark though. Maybe once in a blue moon he'll get service from Castonia's if he's close, but he sees that Greenmark brings him out a demo and realizes that he's got the opportunity to get that demo because Greenmark came to him and said, hey, we've got this right next door. How about we just bring this on over to you? Would you like to try it? Hey, that'd be awesome. It's all about it's all about service selling like that YouTube just accelerates so much faster and so much for you guys that all you guys are like, man, I want to work with that company because look what they did for this guy and look what the service they provide. It's all about that. And it just blows my mind, and it blows Dad's mind even more because he's just so ungodly disappointed because at first, he was like, man, this is going to be so cool. We'll be able to try out some stuff and show, this is what Greenmark's all about. This is what these companies are all about. Work with companies closer and learn more and sell the product basically almost to you guys and say, this is what this does. What do you guys think of this? What, this is our thoughts. This is our likes and dislikes and stuff like that. Is this something that we would consider on the farm? And, I just made up my mind that it's kind of like, it's never really going to happen with Greenmark. But I mean, a lot of you guys still think there's potential, which I'm glad you do, but I doubt it. But it's kind of like you look at Dad's just kind of like I can tell you for a fact he's more disappointed than what I am, which I was surprised about because I didn't know how he totally felt about the YouTube thing. Because the whole YouTube thing, back when I first started the vlogging, him and a neighbor were talking about this. We were over at a neighbor's house a few weeks ago getting meat and freezer beef and stuff like that, and he goes, I remember the time way back when Keith was first starting to YouTube, and we were both talking that one night when he wasn't around and wondering, it's just like, what in the world is that kid thinking? He keeps saying, just hold on, it's coming. It's just coming. That big break is going to happen. I'll hit that subscriber mark, or I'll get to that point where I'm making money with it, and it's going to be worthwhile. Just wait. Just got to hold on. Just got to ride the wave. Just got to get to that point. And he's like, look at him now. Now, granted, comparing that to everybody else, I'm on the lower scale, which I agree. I mean, I'm on the lower scale, but I don't, again, I don't get the stuff that other people get, which is, it's all right. I mean, again, I know that other people have the more opportunities than what I have in our vicinity that we're in. So dealing with and working with companies and stuff. So, which hats off to those guys. I mean, that's awesome that those companies are willing to work with those guys. I mean, that is awesome. But I just sit back and I'm like, well, I've gotten to the point where it's like, well, I'm doing good. The neighbor was just all shocked and get out. Both of his kids are just blown away. Both of his kids are around my age also, just basically saying, the one was saying she was like, he's a marketing genius for one. I mean, look what these guys do. They throw out stuff. They show people what this is. All these other guys get the same idea as what they do and say, man, I like that. That is so cool. But it's product promotion. It's influencing. I mean, literally, we were talking about this I think it was a few weeks ago with another guy. And he's like, farming is literally, well, no, it was with the film documentary, which, by the way, I'm actually going to be on TV. Yeah. Just a side note there. Our farm is actually part of a film documentary series, or a TV show. We did some filming. What was it, last week? Yeah, last week. We did some filming, and we're actually going to be in episode 1, which I didn't know this. I just knew we were going to be in an episode. I didn't know it was going to be a number 1 episode. That's actually pretty cool. But anyways, it's on soybean production, and they contacted me, and it was actually due to the fact that a neighbor wasn't able to do it, and he goes like, my number 1 pick for you guys to do filming with is go contact Keith Warner. He's like, otherwise contact the farm literally a couple miles south of them if Warners aren't able to do it. Well, I immediately jumped on it because I'm like, hey, that's awesome. Because the girl was like, man, you got YouTube? I mean, that's cool. So they looked up the YouTube and they thought that was the coolest thing. And yeah, so it's going to be the show's going to be able to be watched on Facebook Watch, which, if those of you that don't know what Facebook Watch is basically the video tab on the video tab part of Facebook, where you can click and just basically scroll through and watch videos on Facebook. So basically, it's going to be on Facebook, Facebook Watch. I think he told me Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's going to be on Netflix or not. I don't know. But then he told me it's going to be on a major cable network. And he goes like, I guarantee you have watched shows on there. And he's like, it's very well known. And I'm like, and Grandpa was standing there because he was actually part of the filming too, which was really cool. The parts that they wanted to film with Grandpa in it. It's going to be a really awesome show. But he goes like, it's RFD TV, Grandpa. And he's just like, no, it's not RFD TV. He's like, that's a farm-based audience. We want worldwide. He's like, we want more focus on the consumer side of this. And he for legal reasons, he couldn't tell me, but I would not be surprised it's like on Discovery Channel or what was the other one I was thinking of? I just thought of it and I couldn't remember it, but I just lost it, guys. But I'm pretty sure it could be Discovery Channel. Don't hold me to it on that, but I will let you know as soon as I know. No, it's not going to be History Channel. We brought up History Channel, and he's like, no, not History Channel. So that's where it kind of led me to Discovery. Like I said, for legal reasons, he could not tell me. But as soon as I know, guys, as soon as I know when and where it's going to air, I will let you know. But I know it's going to be on Facebook Watch. I don't know the name of the series, but it's Facebook Watch, Amazon Prime, I know, or Amazon Prime Video, sorry, and major cable network channel. So I'm just shooting out in the dark here and saying it's Discovery Channel, possibly. I don't know, but he said potentially viewer audience. Now, I didn't even mention the YouTube channel in this. I mean, I did slip it in a little bit, but I didn't say like, hey, my channel is this, go check it out. I just said, hey, I also have a YouTube channel, and one part of like a whole spiel I was talking about. Like, it wasn't even scripted. This whole thing wasn't scripted. It was completely unscripted, and it went really well. But potentially going to be on the Discovery Channel. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm right. If I am, holy cow, that's cool. But viewer audience that they're estimating is between 600,000 to 1.2 million views. That was conservative estimation. So I don't know. I mean, that was pretty cool. That was a really cool opportunity. So, yeah. And that was all due to the neighbor up the road, which I really appreciate it, Joe. Really appreciate it. That was awesome. Thank you. So if you ever get balls deep in my live stream in the 2 hours and 45 minutes, you'll know I thanked you for it. So unless I see you in person here in the next whenever, I'll thank you then. But yeah. Yeah. Yep. So we'll run this till around 10 o'clock. And yeah, so sorry if I upset anybody with that little spiel about the demo thing. I mean, I know everybody's been asking me about that, about the demo thing. Why don't you get more opportunities? Well, you go talk to our John Deere dealer at Plymouth and find out why, because I don't know. I don't know. Actually, Castonia's two Castonia guys. Actually, the guy that actually pressure washed the head, which again, thank you for pressure washing the head. You guys did not have to do that whatsoever, but we really appreciated it. They from Castonia's, that guy, one of the service guys commented and said, "Hey, I was the one who was in that video right there. I pressure washed the head for you and helped you load it." Yep, we really appreciate it. And one of the salesmen, uh, one of the salesmen over there, I don't think it wasn't the one we worked with, but the other one that was actually sitting in his office when we walked by him, commented on the video too. He's like, "Hey, we really appreciate you working with us." Well, no problem. I appreciate working. That was fun working with you guys on that. So, but so whereabouts you located, Ryan? You're running an 8370R, or an 8R370. Sorry, I completely slipped over the R there, but yeah, an 8R370. Man, that is sweet. Oh, you're probably up in Minnesota? Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. If I remember right, you said you were up in Minnesota, I think. Back through the comments here, guys, also, if I missed anything from you guys. But yeah, we're located in Northwest Indiana. Wanata, Indiana, Hanna, Indiana area to be exact. And yeah, so no, like I said, I mean, we're literally halfway between Castonia's and Greenmark. That's why I was kind of using us as that reference there, but yeah. Yeah, 9:50 Central Time, so. Oh, that's cool, Ryan. That is cool. Yeah, so now we're in Northwest Indiana, Wanata, Indiana, Hanna, Indiana location. So now halfway between Castonia's and Greenmark. AH&W is kind of south west of us from there, kind of more. I don't think do they have any in Indiana? I don't think they have any in Indiana AH&W locations. I don't think so. I think they're all in Illinois as far as the closest one. Reynolds, like I said, we talked about Reynolds before. Reynolds is down in Atlanta. Then you got TTG, and then Koenig. I think that's the Koenig. And then Alliance Tractor. Both of those guys are clear south of us, though. They're way south of us, like down Vincent's area. So. Yeah, so I don't know. That's my, I guess, takeaway on the whole demo thing, to answer all your guys' questions on why we don't. But because I know I get this all the time, just about once a week, saying, "Hey, are you getting that grain cart demo?" No. As far as I know, no, unless you're bringing me something to demo. But yeah, yeah. No, nothing. I'm surprised. I mean, nothing from like Case, nothing from New Holland. Literally, there's a Case IH dealer. The closest equipment dealer to us, guys, is a Case dealer, and they are literally, I would say, about maybe at the most 4 miles from the farm, 4.5, I would say. And I mean, it's one of those things where it's just like, hey, Eric, you want to work with me? You know, I mean, I'm friends with the salesman on Facebook. I've talked to him just a little bit. It's kind of like, man, and he's just like, well, yeah. I point blank asked him one time. I'm like, hey, if you on Facebook Messenger, I said because we were talking about something. What was it? It was something about row crop or something about the drone. And row crop's a farm organization up here. That's not, so it's a farm organization that we're in, but so it was either something about drone work or something about row crop. And he's like, I slipped it in there and I said, hey, if you ever want to work with me on a demo, I'd really appreciate it. He was like, well, what? He's like, what's the point in working with you on a demo when you guys already bleed green? I'm like, man, talk about somebody that does not see the point. It's like, what the heck? It's like, buddy, I would be promoting your dealership. I would be promoting your product to potentially 20,000, if not more people, because 20,000 people follow me on here. What the heck? It's like, wow, I don't know. Well, so I doubt anything would happen from, so that's what I'm saying. My opportunity bubble right here, not existing, guys. Nothing's going to happen in this little bubble. So if you want to check out demos, go check out Zach's channel right now because he's got an X9 on there. He's got a Case Quad Track on there right now. Larson's, I mean, by God, they've got that world's largest green cart. Brett Avalanche, 2596. That is awesome. That's so cool. Go check that out. He's got some back from earlier. Zach's channel, obviously, go back through his videos. There's demos on there. How farms work, go check that out. I think Alex and them down in Vincennes, Indiana, Rushed Farms, they I probably shouldn't say nothing because he hasn't had the video out yet, but I know he's got I'm not even going to say it but I know they demoed a combine last year, I think. Last year, one of his videos. But yeah, go check out that one. What was the video name of it? It was. I can't even think of the name of that video, guys. Alex did an awesome job flying in that video. It was awesome, the drone footage he got. Because I was really impressed. I'm like, dude, that's some like production grade A filming what you did there. That was awesome. A high-speed disc. That's what it was also. He got a high-speed disc. Yeah. So ACS gives demos on what? I didn't know a chemical company actually did demos like that. I didn't know. I know they're I know they're headquartered in Indianapolis. Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. Ryan's got another grain cart to try out, which is cool. I mean, I've actually tried talking with Unvenfirth. Well, which I actually did. I actually got a response back from Unvenfirth. Unvenfirth told me, they said, work with your closest. We would really like to work with you. We really like your channel, but you have to get your local dealer on board. So our local dealer is Greenmark. Would they like to work with me on a demo? No, they don't. So it's kind of like the company wants to work with me. The company wants to work with me. Unvenfirth does. Unvenfirth does. They said just get your nearest dealer on board. We have to work with your nearest dealer. All right. So my nearest dealer is Plymouth Greenmark Equipment. They don't want to work with me. All right. Well, that's where we mainly do business out of for John Deere. And all right, can't work with you. All right, no big deal. So yeah. I could have got one. I could have got a grain cart demo, but that was due to nothing happening there. So, well, no, John, I was asking you. You said that they do demos. I was surprised because I'm like, I know all this from Chet's channel about Ag Chem Solutions. I mean, I know all of this. I know they are headquartered in Indianapolis. I know we could potentially work with them, but like I said, we Helena is literally a half hour from here, catty corner to us, northeast of here. Like I said, we for the past few years we've done great business. They've done great business with us. They've treated us well for the past couple of years now, 2 years. This year and last year, we've been doing tissue sampling through them. They've got a really cool program for the bar charts for the tissue sampling. We really appreciate them. We work with them pretty close on that. So, I mean, what I was asking John was what did you mean by demos? Because I've never heard of a chemical company doing demos. I know they'll let you try products if that's what you mean. I mean, I understand that, but I mean that's not really a demo. That's just more, you know. I mean, well, I guess you could call it a demo. I don't know, but so wait, John, are you like John? Are you a salesman for AgChem Solutions? I'm just wondering. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. No, the McDon is actually 1,000 pounds lighter than the John Deere head. That's actually part of the reason. Oh, really? Oh, okay. That changes things then, John. I didn't know. So you are the owner. All right. Yeah. Well, I guess, like I said, it doesn't hurt uh, to look. I mean, if you guys do tissue sampling and stuff, I mean, maybe it's something that we can look into. Um, I guess my first question right off the bat, because this is going to be critical as far as whether or not we work with you or not, is products. Do you do anything with True Choice or anything with Corteva products? Because the main thing would be Trivens, because Trivens, Abundant Edge, possibly Resicor. I mean, we did some Realm Q this year. So you do Corteva products. All right. Well, that might be something that we might look into then. So you guys do tissue sampling though, because that's one of the main things that Helena kind of started with us last year. I mean, we were kind of, it wasn't so much guinea pigs with it. We kind of got in on it too late. We kind of started late July. Now, I know some of you guys probably watched that live stream. Well, I've got like probably half a dozen live streams out on this, and about tissue sampling and stuff. Last year we started in late July, which, looking back now on my knowledge of tissue sampling, now you guys are probably laughing at me saying, oh, 20-year-old kid, what does he know about tissue sampling? And it's actually pretty eye-opening what I know on tissue sampling as far as timing, the overall efficiency. Like I said, my mouth's getting dry, guys. I need to go get a bottle of water. But the rate of utilization as far as N and the base saturation for tissue sampling and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty eye-opening as far as what I've learned from some pioneer webinars I've looked at, which Dad hasn't watched the webinars yet, and he's still wondering. It's just like, how can you understand? Because it's hard. Some guys look at tissue sampling results and literally scratch their head at them and don't understand, the whole base saturation. Base saturation on tissue sampling is the most critical thing you need to know as far as understanding the percentages on those charts. I mean, that's literally, I wish I could just show you guys the webinar on a live stream and just kind of for OBS sake, just go through that whole entire webinar and just show you guys. It's just like, this is where all my knowledge is stemming from on tissue sampling. Because last year, we just kind of scratched our heads at them and just went like, what the heck are we doing wrong here? We for one, we caught it way too late in the curve. We were well into tossling, and we were way behind as far as trying to catch up to do anything beneficial from the tissue sampling. So basically, the tissue sampling last year was just a snapshot, which they are. They're snapshots of what's going on at that time of day, because time of day, as far as as far as temperature, as far as whether it's raining, the whole weather aspect for tissue sampling is critical. If you're timely taking tissue tests on a Monday let's just say every Monday you're taking tissue tests, you're doing it wrong. Now, some of you guys are probably like, what do you mean I'm doing it wrong? What I mean by that is, if it's a cloudy day on that one Monday, that cloudy day versus that bright sunny Monday on that following week is going to throw your results off like crazy. Now, we learned that immediately talking with a guy that we work with with our liquid fertilizer out of Michigan, and he's like, that will skew what the plant is actively doing that day as far as nutrient uptake goes. And that is super critical on tissue sampling. He's like, if you're going to take a tissue test, and if you're doing it every single Monday, and that day happens to be cloudy, and the next couple of days are going to be sunny, literally wait those 2 days or couple days, and after those couple days of sunny, bright sunny days, go out there, take a tissue test, send it in. Your results are going to be parallel, and continue coordinating with basically any nutrient applications that you've been doing compared to the last tissue test. That's what we did this year, because at one point, we were routinely doing them every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, say like we didn't really have a set day. We were just doing them every 2 weeks. And Dad said, hey, let's just do it on a Monday. And I looked at my phone and I'm like, and it was Saturday. And I'm like, Monday looks like it's going to be a pretty overcast day. He's like, you think we should wait? I'm like, wait, because we actually did a foliar application. Believe it or not, we did a foliar application that following week, and we wanted to see results. That's why we were doing the tissue test. We were wanting to see if those results, which actually, and I've got the tissue tests literally right beside me, a copy of them all in the file cabinet right here. We were seeing results parallel to what we were wanting to see every single time we pulled a sample. So if we did a nutrient application, a week later we were doing a tissue test as far as the timing of our application. So basically what we were doing was, we would do let's just say when we were in fertigation season, when we were doing a fertigation application, we would do the fertigation application. That next week we were doing a tissue test. That week later, we were planning to figure out what to do to respond to if something was out of whack, that we needed to apply more of that was calling for. Basically, if our N level was, say, sufficient, tracking that as far as where we were at in the sufficient chart, are we dead center sufficient? Are we nearing low coming out of sufficient? Are we like right there between low and sufficient? If so, we need to get an N application out there, or whatever for whatever micronutrient or macronutrient that needs, is calling for. Which one thing that we're really seriously needing to look at now is boron. Boron, especially in our sands, we really need to be looking at that, and potash. I feel we need to be spending boron. Boron was one that I was really glad that we got to play with some. But yeah, that's the big thing with the Y drop applicator. Not only just the Y drops, but the 28 applicator itself. Going from anhydrous to 28, that was huge for us. Dad was on the fence with it. And I think when did we dig roots? We started digging plants when it was like mid-July. No, I don't know. I could tell you right when if I looked on my phone, I could tell you. But when we started digging plants, it was unbelievable. How fast Dad immediately said we need to sell the anhydrous applicator like right now. He was just like the amount of what we can do as far as micronutrients goes and the concoctions that we can make like with nitrogen and sulfur. And next year what I'm telling them, what I'm considering, if we take sulfur completely out of the side dress, like what we this year we were experimenting putting sulfur in the side dress, which was kind of interesting, which was partly due to not spreading gypsum. But if we go to spreading gypsum again and just pull sulfur completely out of the side dress, then what I want to do is I want to put potash in that sulfur and replace the sulfur in the side dress. So put nitrogen and potash out when we're side dressing, even at V6. Well, technically V6 to V8 because typically when we were running anhydrous, we could run anhydrous as soon as the corn was coming up out of the ground. So I mean, what we were looking at was doing anywhere right at the corn was coming up to probably about V5, coming in and running anhydrous side dress. Now with the wide drops, we have to wait till that corn plant is a lot taller so those hoses can run a lot more parallel and not flop the corn over and do the correct job that they need to be doing as far as applying the nutrients goes. So I mean, it's that's where I feel like potash comes into play just as much as nitrogen goes. And plus, I mean, you look at the nutrient uptake chart. I mean, potash is tremendously huge coming out of VT there. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just like I feel like we could be doing like a 2004, then turning around and doing a 4020 shot with fertigating. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot I feel that we're going to be doing in 2021. 2020, I mean, for some, it was a real crap of a year, but this year, I mean, it was an awesome year as far as we haven't even picked the trials yet in the corn. We haven't even done nothing in the corn yet. Well, we haven't done that trial yet, but we did run the NFix. We haven't run the NFix trial. Now, the NFix is what I'm talking about is that blue additive that we added, which, John, I got a question for you then. What do you guys offer for what would be considered an NFix XLR nitrogen stabilizer for volatilization goes for side dressing with wide drops? What do you guys, I guess, offer from Ag Chem Solutions? What would be you consider your best product there? Because technically that's what we were getting through Helena was NFix XLR. We were going to get what was that product from Co-Alliance? Agritane. We were going to get Agritane, but it was way too late in the boat to be even considering getting Agritane. Way too late in the season to be even getting that. And we ended up going with NFix XLR because they had some on hand, but they didn't have enough for the whole entire season for us. So they ended up ordering some. They got some in. But yeah, so I guess what would you consider, or I guess what do you guys offer for, so you guys offer Agritane? Yeah, all right, that's good. Because that's what we were going to run, and the only reason we ran NFix XLR was because Co-Alliance was out of it. So, and from what I've heard talking with guys online, Agritane and NFix XLR, same product. You're going to get the same result, and they've done yield trials with all the guys I've talked with. They've said they've done yield trials, and it's literally parallel. They said it's literally no comparison. I mean, it's same thing. So they're running right side by side. So I guess shipping or how would how would I guess logistics go as far as getting products or anything like that through you guys? I mean, I'm interested. Put that way. I mean, I'd be definitely interested in price comparison because I know literally I know our Helena guy called up Dad not last week, but I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and he wants to come out in the worst way, I guess. Probably get prices out, probably know what the deal is if we're going dicamba, if we're going enlist beans next year. Which, to be honest, guys, I know that's what a lot of you guys are probably really wanting to know what we're gonna do. To be honest, to this moment right now, I still don't know. I mean, we are very, very we love the dicamba beans. We run all dicamba beans, and the only beans that we have that are enlist this year are double crops. So really, we can't give them a fair comparison. But I just don't know if I can sacrifice A-Series Pioneer genetics and go to a level playing field with enlist. Enlist guys, I don't care who you're buying from this year. And I know there's 100 of you guys in here right now, and I know 99 of you guys. One guy just left, but I know some of you guys. 98, another guy just left, but I know some of you guys buy seed, and it's a level playing field for enlist. Everybody this year has the exact same genetics as far as enlist goes. As far as seed genetics goes, everybody is on the same playing field. So I don't care who you're buying from, it's enlist. Same genetics across the board. Stein genetics. Plain and simple. Everybody knows that. And if you don't, now you know. So, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the enlist program. I wish we could go to that I wish we could go to that program right now. We went down to a field day training day down in Sheridan, Indiana, and holy cow, that is the best program I feel. Dad and I would love to run that program, and I mean, when they're talking about how beans are 23 times less susceptible to 2,4-D versus they are dicamba, I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, they were showing side-by-side trials down there, and you're like, holy cow. I mean, yeah, you don't want to spray 2,4-D on beans, but I mean, they were talking about susceptibility to 2,4-D, and it's just like, wow, beans are 23 times less susceptible to 2,4-D than what they are dicamba, and it's just like, really? That's interesting. You don't think about that, but the program, that chemical program, is awesome. 2,4-D and Roundup, there is a synergistic effect there, and it just smokes the weeds. It does an awesome job, but I just don't want to sacrifice genetics. Now, put it this way, if everybody planted them, and there was no comparison there with A-Series genetics, and it was just a level playing field, everybody planted them, and you planted all 100% enlist, there's no comparison. I mean, the beans, there's no comparison. If they all do well, they all do well. But yeah, I mean, that's why it's kind of like, I don't know if I want to go enlist. I almost want to stay dicamba and figure out a good residual program. And like Dad said, we could even spot spray Cobra. I mean, that's what a lot of guys used to do. And a lot of guys still do, is spot spray Cobra. And technically, I mean, like it or not, I mean, a lot of guys say that there is a yield benefit to Cobra. And you look at Cobra, if you look at say if you do a double residual, which we only do a single residual, we do a pre-residual, we do a pre-emerge residual, and which is trivents. We put down trivents, and we're thinking of bumping that rate up. I'm not going to say any rates or nothing because I don't want you guys taking any rates from me, but we're thinking of bumping this rate up 1 more ounce, put out tri-vents, do our Roundup burn down, 2,4-D and everything, if we decide to do Enlist. But let's just say we do tri-vents and Roundup out there for a burn down for dicamba, which actually this year we did dicamba for a burn down, which actually worked out great. That was an awesome program what we did, Roundup and dicamba with tri-vents. But let's just say we do let's just say dicamba is available, but not for in-season use, but just for burn down. So we do exact same program what we did this year, dicamba, Roundup, and tri-vents with a higher rate of tri-vents, just 1 more ounce higher than what we're running. Maybe that tri-vents could carry us. Let's just say we have to come back in with a second residual, maybe. I wouldn't really like to because that just gets really pricey then, coming out with another residual, even though it's recommended. But you take the cost comparison to Cobra versus dicamba, that Cobra looks pretty appetizing. Yeah, that right there, 32 versus 895. Whew, that's quite a difference. Quite a difference. I mean, talk about a cheap chemical program. I mean, granted, we'd still be spraying dicamba if it's available. If it's available for a burn down, I would still use dicamba for a burn down. And then, use spot spraying or spray Cobra, spray the whole field if I have to, but I don't know. Well, I guess I'm definitely going to get in touch with you, John. I don't know how you guys ended up getting in touch with Larson's, or if you guys got an Instagram. Actually, I'll just look you guys up right now if you do or not. But I'll definitely get in touch with you for sure, because I'm definitely interested with you guys basically providing the whole package, really, as far as everything that we need that we've been dealing with Helena. So that's why I thought Chet said. After I just said that, I'm pretty sure Chet was saying in one of his videos that he said that he was working with you guys for quite a long time. So I don't know if you guys got like an Instagram. I imagine you guys probably got a Facebook. I'll definitely get you guys, put you down. I'll write you down for sure. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll write your phone number down right now. And yeah. No, I'd be definitely interested, because put it this way, if you guys offer all Corteva products, which that's what we do. I mean, we run all Corteva products, with the Corteva cash that we get from Pioneer, doing our seed order and stuff like that, and that's another thing, we sell seed through Pioneer, so we're constantly promoting the Corteva products. Some guys ask me, why don't you sell, you being a Pioneer seed dealer, why don't you sell chemicals? Well, logistically, it just, for the amount of customers that we deal with, which I'm not saying that we deal with a small customer base, but we're one of the smaller reps. And it just, for logistics for us, it just, at the size of rep that we are, or dealership that we are, it just logistically doesn't make sense for us to be a chemical dealer. But yeah, with you, that's why we've never priced Co-Alliance. We debated on pricing Co-Alliance, which we still may this year, but I'm definitely going to check out at you guys for sure now, because I didn't know you guys handled Corteva, so that's good. But yeah, I'll write this all down and definitely get with you here. So but yeah, I definitely am interested, because it does not hurt, especially right now. Prices aren't as bad as what they were before, but they've rebounded some, but it does not hurt if you could save money and buy the exact same product and get the exact same service. It's a no-brainer. So, but yeah, put it this way, I'd be more than happy to do the exact same thing Chet does with you and promote, products. Well, not just not products, but the company, and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I'd be more than happy to work with you then. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised our Helena rep would be wanting to come out tomorrow anyways, but that would be something that we'll definitely discuss. And yeah, so that would be but on the fertilizer side of thing, John, as far as like the micronutrients and stuff like that, we work with, you might be familiar with them. We work with a private agronomy consulting group. They worked with the dad of this group, worked closely with the owner of Stoller, and they work with Lakeshore Ag and developing, not, I don't remember if he had a part of it or not, but they worked with Stoller, and or was it Dave? I don't know. He knew of Stoller. He worked with Stoller, I'm pretty sure. And Lakeshore Ag up in Michigan, they work with on products. And now I don't know if it was a merger or if they bought them or what. I know Lakeshore Ag still exists, but Logan Ag is who we primarily deal through with chemicals on basically our in-furrow now, which originally was made by these guys up in Lakeshore, but now it's through Logan Ag. I keep forgetting that, but yeah, it's Logan Ag, and that's where we did a lot of the foliars from. That's where we got the micronutrient mix from. So that's where basically we're doing a lot of basically all of our, as far as micronutrient foliar business, that's where all that's getting pulled from, is due to our private agronomy guys that we work with, who it's basically like a triangle at this point, because they worked with the guys up at Lakeshore, who we work, who now we're working with now closely with this guy or these guys. And the guy that the son of the group, of the dad who owns this group, the private, yeah, you understand. He is now working with Logan Ag, because Logan Ag, I think, bought Lakeshore or merged with Lakeshore to get access to the products. And so basically what we buy is labeled with Logan Ag on it, but it's actually coming from Lakeshore. So it's yeah. So yeah, the in-furrow mix, we love it. That's something that won't ever change. That won't change unless their private agronomists say something. That's something that they perfected over the years of not only working with us and working with another guy. So that's staying. That we're not messing with the in-furrow, put it that way. But putting additives in it, I wouldn't be opposed to adding stuff like pivot. So, question on that: do fertilizer additives? Do you run any pivot bioproven? Because I've been considering this all year long about putting out a trial of bioproven next year. That's something I've been really, really wanting to try out. I mean, it's all right if you don't have access to it. I totally understand. But if you do, that's something I'm really interested in. So herbicides and insecticides, all right. Yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah. So fungicides. So I'm assuming Approach Prima also through Corteva. Awesome. Yeah. I know there's Veltima. I mean, I know the guy that we were getting spraying our corn. He was wanting us to use Veltima, and we're like, no, we're just using Approach Prima because we know it works good, and we've been using it over the years, and it works really well. He's like, why don't you do a side by side? And it's just like, we already have an insane amount of side by sides this year. And to do a side by side on fungicide, we're doing like a side by side on top of a side by side on top of a side by side at that point. And it's just like at that point to try and do a fair comparison there of Approach Prima versus Veltima, not going to happen. You know, at this point, it wouldn't even happen. And plus, I really don't even want to consider it. I mean, I hate to say that about being so biased like that, but Approach Prima just works so well. It's kind of like I really don't want to gamble on something like that that's so critical that I know it works. I don't want to mess with something that works. But I'm open to trying and fine-tuning things, you know, like what you recommended, like trying some brand products, because I know I don't know if he's our group that we work with, and it's just a father and son's group, has had some close circle relation talks with some of the top corn growers, like, and I'm not bragging or rubbing in anything, but like with Randy Dowdy or Dave Hula and stuff. So they've been on those close circle discussion groups with those guys. So I mean, we're opening more and more knowledge up from that point. And there's some brand products, you know, from watching like the Corn Warriors show and stuff like that I've considered. So but yeah, so that's good to know there. Yeah, but definitely I'll be in touch. Yeah. So that, or I mean, if you want to reach out to me anytime, also, I mean, my email is in the description as well. So I mean, if you want to like shoot me an email right away here or something, and just, you know, that way I've got it for record keeping even too. That way, if I somehow lose a sticky note, which I doubt, because, you know, I literally just have probably about almost close to a dozen sticky notes in front of me of stuff that I need to remind myself and say, all right, hey, you know, there's a tree down on this field that we need to take care of, or, you know, you got to get these forms signed. So yeah. So, but I got your number wrote down. And yeah, I'll give you a call here. Not tonight, obviously, but more than likely sometime this week, maybe, or sometime here before this winter, you know, and get with you and price chemical and compare. But I wouldn't be surprised potentially that we work with you. I guess on the tissue sampling wise thing, I guess how would the tissue sampling work then with you guys? Because I mean, basically what we do, I'll just tell you how we do it through Helena. We give our Helena guys a week out and say, hey, you know, next week, let's just shoot for this day to have you guys come out. And they come up in the morning that day that they're going to do tissue testing. And we tell them, all right, here are the maps, and do this field, and this field. And boom, you know, they're out the door, they're headed out, tissue sampling, and results are in by the first part of next week or the following week then. Or I don't know, I guess that's their turnaround on tissue sampling, like as far as turnaround for results. I mean, I don't know how fast you guys are in tissue sampling turnaround, but that's what they do, I guess. I mean, I'm not trying to say that you can't do that or anything, or just try and, you know, this is what you have to match. I'm just, you know, for reference, this is what, you know, these guys do. I mean, I don't know how you guys do things or anything, but yeah. But I guess what's your turnaround on a sample on sampling. So like, say you sample on like a Tuesday, I know you got to send them in to get analyzed. What would be your turnaround, I guess? 2 weeks. So 2 weeks. All right. Because what they do is they send them in and they pull on, let's just say we try and shoot for like the beginning of the week from like Monday to Wednesday. They pull on a Monday through Wednesday and they get the results in down, they got to send them in the mail, probably the same thing you got to do. Send them in the mail and they try and get them to them by Friday in the mail as far as getting them physically to them. And then they get the data, and I think they'll have the results back by, I want to say we have the papers physically with us as far as the results go by Wednesday, I want to say the following week. So the week after the tissue test, I want to say. So, well, that helps. I mean, my God, you're 10 miles from the lab, dude. That's awesome. As far as turnaround goes, preferably, I mean, that would be preferred. I mean, the quicker the turnaround, the better, because basically the quicker we can get a turnaround as far as the quicker we can get the results, basically the quicker we can react if something is out of whack or something is correct, what we're doing. Basically, are we seeing a positive response from this application, or are we not seeing anything? Or if if we're taking like a field that we're not doing anything on and just doing our standard practice on, what is it that we can be doing to basically, you know what I'm saying, just combat anything. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was their turnaround from this year. If I remember right, they were about a week. Because then that was the week then that we would plan also. And then the following week, then, do another tissue test. And after we do a result, or after we do an application. So that was how they did tissue sampling turnaround. So I guess that's good to know. Yeah, like I said, I'm definitely interested if you guys can basically offer the full package like what Helena does. And yeah, so like I said, I mean, we were considering pricing. We actually did price another retailer, but they were way out of the ball game, and that was just because we caught them way too late in the game, and we basically were catching them right at the beginning of the season for spraying, and we're like, yeah, we're really sorry about this, but it was just kind of like, what's your pricing? And they're like, well, problem is we got to get this stuff booked, then get it in. That way it's for you. So that way the best pricing would be sometime in December. And we're like, well, we'll try and look at you guys next year, but next year's this year. And it's kind of like, well, you're offering, an opportunity to work with you. So it's kind of like, well, I think I know your I imagine your prices are really good. So it's just like, let's just take a look. It doesn't always, it doesn't hurt to look. So, and plus with you guys being in state, I mean, you're in state. I mean, you're only 2 hours away. I mean, I don't know, with free shipping and next day. I mean, I could call you guys up and say, I need this tomorrow. We actually don't spray any Liberty, so we don't do any Liberty. Basically, what we're running is Abundant Edge. So I'll basically give you our whole chemical list here. This year, what we were running: Cinch ATZ, Realm Q, Trivents, Abundant Edge, not Extendamax, sorry, Effexapan, and Everprex, and that's basically it as far as chemicals go, and then just generic 2,4-D. So Oh yeah, deer pasture. We actually have a wide drop side dressing rig that we pull behind the 8530. After this year, that's what we started doing. I have a whole bunch of videos on it. If you want to check that out, I've got them all on YouTube here. So if you want to check that out, yeah. So we did 28 in thiazole through the 20 or through the Y drops, and interested in the results. Haven't run any of the checks yet. Now, as far as checks go, there is no checks as far as running 28 in thiazole through the Y drops versus running in hydrous. So there was no check strips there because running 28 in thiazole versus just running nitrogen, that's not a fair comparison. So that's why we did not do any checks there. As far as the micronutrients go, in the N-Fix trials for stabilizing N, we haven't gotten into those yet because those are on dryland field or dryland. Those are on irrigated fields, so we will know. No, there's also a dryland field over at the river. Sorry, over at the river we have quite a trial. We've got hydrohume, which is some humic acid that Helena was wanting us to try, and I'm not a big fan of it. Then N-Fix XLR, which was just stabilizer, and then a micromix, and that was with N-Fix XLR. And that micromix is from the guys we work with. And then just 28 in thiazole, nothing else. Which technically, thiazole is technically somewhat of a stabilizer if you think about it. But yeah, so. But you can get a button edge, so that, I mean, Roundup is Roundup, but I mean, we just buy a button edge just, due to it's this Corteva and stuff. But I mean, as long as you can supply Corteva products, I don't care. I mean, that's good to know. So yeah, good deal. Yeah, I'll definitely be in touch with you for sure. Definitely interested. And yeah, I mean, if you want to, I don't know how you do demos or stuff like that. I mean, if you're wanting us to try out products, I mean, I'm totally game. I'm interested. I mean, put it this way, I mean, I'll promote, like you heard my whole spiel on product promotion or company promotion. It's not just about selling the product to us, it's about selling the product to the audience. So yeah. But yeah, so definitely interested. I'll check you guys out for sure online and tonight, and I got to get a video rolled out to you guys like now. But anyways, I guess I'll go ahead and end the stream here. Crazy long. I did not expect it to be this long, but learned quite a lot tonight from quite a few different guys on here tonight, and I know you guys learned quite a bit from me tonight, so that was good. Anyways, thank you guys for watching as always. I guess I'll catch you guys in the next videos over the next few weeks. Video every single day, like I said, from here on out pretty much. And thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video, probably next live stream, next Sunday maybe. If not, I'll keep you guys posted on the community tab. So John, I will be getting in touch with you. Awesome time talking with you on here. And again, catch you guys in the next stream or video. Thanks for watching.